Wah. Hello. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. And welcome back from the ad break. It did end, right? Because I've been seeing some things on the twits about how the ad breaks have been longer. Haven't noticed it yet, but yeah. But then I heard that that was a hoax. I don't know. I've been hearing things. I just be hearing things sometimes. And I'm not just talking about the voices. But hello. How you guys doing? Happy Thursday. We're almost at the end of the week. Yippee! And today I had no work meeting, so I was just researching all day. But it was fun to research, and I'm excited to present that research tomorrow, not today. Today we're just gonna be doing some art appreciation. We're gonna keep it sleazy. We're gonna keep it nice and loose. But yeah, how you guys doing? Let's go ahead and scroll up and see who we got here before we get to class, and also that gives me some time to get my my tracking ready, because I forgot to get that ready. But alright, we have Seribot, our rock. We also got Matthew, you are first, and Harpsichord Enjoyer, you got your sticker. Same with Mauser. Impossible, you read that as Italian-American fursuits at first. And then I said, when the furries demand the gabagool. Hey. I'm walking over here. And then folk, hello, you got your sticker. When your persona is Frankie Peanuts. Or Big Fat Paulie, you know. Hey, don't step on my tail over here. I'm sure you guys love when I make that impression. I'm sure of it. Especially the people on the East Coast. Dove Beetle, hello. Their length increases when observed. It's true. It's true. Loosey-goosey. We are gonna keep it loosey. Maybe even goosey. But with that, we have, we've said hello to the people here so far. Let's go ahead and get to class. Hello. Hello. It's me, Babinka Bear, your local Sun Bear art history teacher and educational streamer. And today we're doing some art appreciation, but we are going to be doing our dailies first. And, I kind of, like I said, all day today, I've just been researching for tomorrow's stream, along with just relaxing because the past 2 office days were pretty busy. But you know what? Let's get some music going. Well, what kind of music are we going? Let me also fix my tracking because I need it to be centered. Watch this. There we go. Alright, let's see. What music are we listening to today? There's Dankmas, there's Record of Ragnarok, there's Higurashi. Did you guys hear that there's another Higurashi anime coming out, by the way? Which usually I'm excited for such a thing. You know what, we're just gonna play some corporate business wave. Some good old vaporwave. And actually, give me a second. I realized I forgot to close the window, and you can hear dogs barking outside, so give me a second. That's not corporate office wave. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, give me a second. Okay, there we go. There is the corporate business wave. The vapor waves. Imagine Hamilton suddenly became, categorized as corporate office wave. But yeah, let's see. I don't know, Goosey seems a little dangerous. Just a teensy bit. Just a teensy bit. But we're gonna play it fast and loose today. Thanks for looking into my hyperfixation. Yeah, of course, of course. Thank you for recommending that topic. And for, you know, in order to recommend that topic, you would have had to donate all those subs, which you did. So thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. You guys can hear the background dogs? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I live in an apartment complex, which is actually quite simple, if you think about it. Not that complex. But, yeah, sometimes you can hear dogs in the background, sometimes you can hear kids, you know, yelling, and sometimes it's not even kids, sometimes it's teenagers at the pool, and they just be yelling, you know? They just be yelling sometimes. And that's fine. Hello, Lord Veterinary 266, hello! Supporting the bears. Yeah, thank you for the support. Yeah, all day today I've just been, I actually started my research on Monday, For those who don't know, we're going to be doing an educational stream tomorrow on tabletop wargaming. But looking at the topic, once again, I'm realizing that like it's so expansive. There's so much to talk about that I'm going to be focusing more so on the artistry, on the art of tabletop wargaming. So I'm gonna still touch on like what tabletop wargaming is, of course, but I'm not gonna go as hard into like, for example, the lore of Warhammer 40k, because there's already so many videos on that and I would not do it justice because I've never dabbled in such a thing. The lore seems really cool, but I'm gonna be focusing on the art. So like the art of like John Blanche, the grim darkness, because in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. It's true. Damn teenagers, yeah, the darn teenagers. It's just like the My Chemical Romance song. I say these teenagers scare the living out of me. They could care less, unless someone will bleed. So darken your clothes and strike a violent pose. Maybe they'll leave you alone, but not me. And it's funny because that song came out when I was a teenager, and now I'm the adult. I'm the POV, and I believe it when they say that the teenagers scare the living out of me. It's true. It's just so true. I asked Hal for perms to show off his models, and he said yes. All right, cool. Yeah, feel free to just share, if you can share those pics with me, or share a link as to where I could get those pictures. Because yeah, I do want to, we're going to be doing kind of like another art appreciation tomorrow, but we're going to be focusing mostly on like mini paints and then like artists that were inspired by like John Blanche or like in some way contribute to the community, the tabletop wargaming community. So like I did put, what is it, Mike... I literally just like put his name down. The trench, the why am I forgetting? Streamer debuff. Yeah, Mike Franchina. Yeah, I put his name there, but that's the last thing I need to do some research on is like the modern state of like tabletop wargaming. So that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But today we're gonna be focusing on just general art appreciation. I was gonna kind of keep it, like I said, loosey-goosey for today. My initial plan was to play Anthropium, and anything that we didn't know, we were gonna like focus heavily on that. And then I looked at my thread on the Discord for art appreciation, and I realized that a lot of people submitted stuff for me to look at for today. So we're not gonna go with the Anthropium idea, though that would be a cool thing to do maybe next Monday for our just yappin' stream, where like whatever we don't do good at with Anthropium, we just like focus on it, you know? I do want to learn more about the Benin City, you know, like ironworks. I'm very interested in that. And I do feel so good when I get something correct when it comes to Mesoamerica with Anthropium. I think yesterday I freaking clocked it. I freaking clocked one of the Anthropium things as like classic era Maya, and I was so proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I got the time period. I got literally like the exact well, the Maya region's very large because it encompasses like the Yucatan, but also like parts of Guatemala, and I think a little bit of like Honduras as well, and like little parts of Mexico too. But I also clocked the time period, which I'm like notoriously bad at. So I was like, yeah, let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. And the latest thing that I did research on was also like Peruvian textiles and what's it called? Ceramics. And Nazca ceramics as well. So like that, I also feel pretty good whenever I'm able to clock that. But then that makes it worse when I like get that wrong, right? When it's like, oh, this looks Greek and it's actually like Colombian. Colombian gold works, right? So, but yeah, I don't know. That it's just fun to get all up into that. But let's do a little bit of a preview on what we are gonna be looking at today, and then let's do our dailies. I kind of want to jump right into it because we got a lot to look at today. Which I'm happy for. I'm happy that like when you guys see a cool piece of artwork, you guys are like, all right, let's show this to Binka. I think Binka should take a look at this. So let me first put away the projector screen, and then I'm going to actually navigate to my big window. Okay, so a couple of things that we're actually gonna be looking at quite a bit today. So some of the things we're looking at, I'm not gonna spend that much time on. I might just like look at it and be like, ha, I love that, and move on. But There are a couple of artists that when I was playing the Daily Hue, I got really interested in their artwork. I think this one was one of the artworks on the Daily Hue. Hemingway Never Ate Here. You know, you had to guess like the background color and stuff like that. I don't remember if I got it, but I had never heard of Patrick Caulfield before, so we can look at some of his artwork. He seems to be a British pop artist during the I'm looking at like the dates here, between the 60s and 2000s. I don't know if they're still alive. No, they died in 2005. Oh yes, here we go. Active years 1950 to 2004. So, and it's interesting because their art style does seem to change over time with these like very bold outlines and stuff. So we'll look at him first. And then another artist that I found out very recently through Daily Hue was this guy, Joseph Stella, which I kind of like how he looks. He kind of looks like, first of all, he's Italian-American because he's born in Italy and then migrates to America. But I don't know, I don't know how insulting this is gonna come out, but I do mean it as a compliment. He does kind of look like he kind of gives off like the mafia vibes, you know. He does kind of give off the like it was the gabagool, you know. But lo and behold, he's actually an Italian American futurist. He does works like this. Oh, I wish we could. Can we zoom in? Well, anyway, he does a lot of play with like geometric shapes and color. His work is just awesome. Like, and the thing is, I'm not even that well versed in him. I didn't even do that much research on him yet. So we could do research like live, like right now, and stuff like that. But ooh, major artworks. Oh yeah, this is some of the stuff that we already are kind of looking at down here. But it's just really cool. I'm excited to learn more about this guy. After that is the start of all of the recommendations that you guys gave on the art appreciation channel in the Discord. So one of the first things we'll look at is actually Sklimbo, the VTuber male himself. I think he's streaming right now. He's been streaming like crazy lately because he's doing a Minecraft RP. He's in a Minecraft RP server. So I think he's streaming right now, but he's a really cool VTuber. For those who don't know, he's part of Sock's agency. He is a VTuber male, believe it or not. And I also do happen to be a mod for him, but don't think that you know, I'm not too biased. I'm a little biased. I think he's cool. Yeah, there's this cool fan art of Sklimbo that is based off of, you know, like Japanese prints. These like, actually I was gonna say, like sumie or ukiyo-e, but it says here it's nishiki-e. But it's based off of this, the yo, you know? Male VTubers on my Twitch. A VTuber male discussing. I love that it's two male VTubers that said that. Shiopi, hello. Hello, you caught us as we were yo-ing. You know, you got us as we were doing that. I believe Pexcool was the one who recommended this artwork. And then he did also warn me to not look at the original, like, this is the original artist. Props to them, right? But they also said that they do a lot of kind of risque artwork. So, you know, exercise caution when looking at their art. But we're just going to focus on this one. Next to that, Mega Ronson recommended this video, which I'm always hesitant to play videos on stream because I don't want to, like, you know, steal content from other people when I could just link it in chat and you guys can give it a cool watch and support and stuff. So we might just kind of scroll through this video, or we might play it with a little bit of sound off and go from there. We hate what we are. Oh no, don't hate what you are. Lots of people love what you guys are. Yo! That's right, Shiopi. That's right. Male VTubers. Male VTuber mentioned on stream. Unliked, unsub, blocked, preparing a Google Docky. Seething. Hating, etc, etc. So this is a pretty cool video. I watched this shortly before stream. And it's cool how it's framed because it's like, oh, the high-vis vest, you know? So this guy's probably like cleaning up all this graffiti, right? And we're gonna see, right? Next up, I believe, let me look, I think, was it Matthew who recommended this one? Yes, it was Matthew who recommended this. So recently, there's been this trend, especially on Twitter, to portray the Backrooms, especially because the Backrooms movie came out a couple of weeks back. I still haven't watched it. I don't know if I will. I just never really got into Backroom stuff. I understand it, but, you know, maybe not for me. But there's been this trend of a lot of different artists portraying this idea of the Backrooms in like specific styles. So for example, this is like medieval manuscript. But then this video kind of goes into like, it showcases a lot of different artwork of this theme, including that artwork that I had just shown on here. Like, you know, this Chinese propaganda, ancient Greek, ooh, Southeast Asian. I want to say, I don't know exactly where Southeast Asia, but her batik makes me think Indonesia. Heian, which when I was watching this guy's video, he pronounced it Heian, but you know, all of his, that's such a minor thing. That's such a minor thing to comment on, and yet here I am doing it. Ooh, this one's interesting because it's almost like Mexican artwork, or there's like a specific name for it. There's a specific name for this genre of art. But you could see like the Virgin de Guadalupe over here. But you see this in like religious, specifically like Mexican art. What else? What else? Oh my gosh, even like Neolithic over here. This one I like too, the creepy dinosaur. I'm not sure how to make this this go away, this little pop out this video. It only shows up when I'm using Water Fox, but who knows? The Minotaur, you know? And then they even show this really cool etching that isn't directly inspired by the backrooms trend, but it kind of like feels like it, right? Yeah, liminal spaces. I totally like, I remember when like the backrooms and like this idea of like liminal spaces through like old looking photographs was first becoming a thing, and I was really into it because I was also into vaporwave around that same time. This was around like late 2010s, 2016, like 2018. And like around the time that vaporwave started getting more popular, you also saw these kinds of photos where like you were looking at the back rooms, the liminal spaces, and I was really into it. But call me a hipster, but once it got a little bit more, like once we started doing like creepypastas and like those like fan-made video games where you're getting chased by a monster, it kind of like lost its touch for me personally. Because part of the horror, or part of like that weird, not even horror, it's almost like a terror, like part of that like ambiguous terrifying effect is the ambiguity, is this idea of like, I don't know if something's chasing me, or if like, if it's okay that I'm in this empty space by myself. But once you introduce a monster, it goes from terror to horror, you know? It goes from like this ambiguity of what's gonna happen to me to like just straight up like, I'm getting jump scared, something's chasing me, I'm gonna die, you know? So like that's just my take on it, but this trend I think is very cool. Oh yeah, and I happened to see this artwork, which, you know, Filipino, Filipino inspired. This person even included a little bit of lore, and they even mentioned an actual Filipino artist that painted in this style, Fernando Amarsolo, who I actually love this artist a lot. But mostly because like they're a very well-known Filipino artist, which I can show you some of his artworks as well. So there's that. I believe Dove Beetle recommended this one. We're not gonna watch the video in its entirety, but like this is just a short video by Sotheby's about this really cool German snuff box that like has just really intricate like goldwork and stonework in it. As you can see, there's like a whole bunch of different like types of stone here, and there's even a little secret. There's a little sneakret in one of these little within this snuff box that is very interesting. So we'll get into that. We're not gonna watch the entire thing, but I'll like kind of scroll through the video. And then lastly, I don't know how much we're gonna comment on this because I definitely recommend that you guys look at this video on your own. But this was recommended by beeplebees. This is a short CalArts film called Cocoon, which is just amazing. Like I watched it shortly before the stream. It harkens back to a lot of classical art, but also like surrealist art and themes. It's based off of a like short story as well. So we'll take a look at certain shots at the very end of this stream. But I'm shrunken. I'm small. Yes, we will take a short look at it. But yeah, like, well, we'll do that at the end. But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot to look at today, which is why I kind of want to get into the swing of things. So let me catch up on chat real quick. And then once I get unshrunken, we'll get to it. Let's see. You should check out Kane's Pixel. Ah, my legs. the Kane Pixels Backroom series, sometimes there is a monster, but it's used very sparingly. Yeah, like I said, the part of what I like about things like the Backrooms or just analog horror is kind of the ambiguity of it. There are times where I do like the idea of CalArts. Hello. Good evening, church. But yeah, there are times where I like the idea of like the inclusion of horror within terror, if that makes sense. What was the one with the statues? There's like an analog horror with I'm big again. There's like an analog horror series that's all about like moving statues that I thought was very interesting. But yeah, I also just haven't checked out that much analog horror lately. Male VTubers were mentioned. Yeah, George, you missed it. We were talking all about male VTubers and how much we love them and support them and all of that jazz. So that one Doctor Who episode? Wait, what? Yes, we were talking about male VTubers. Wait, I'm trying to remember what I literally just said. Oh yes, the Doctor Who episode. The Doctor Who episode. I always show that episode in particular to people who have never seen Doctor Who before because it's like the very first episode that has like the angels is such a good like standalone episode. I remember showing it to like one of my best friends back in like the 2010s, and it got her like into Doctor Who like right away. I even remember we watched like oh my god, was it like the 50th anniversary or something like that? Like we watched that together, and I remember they had the Ninth Doctor, and he's my doctor. I love the Ninth Doctor. I love Christopher Eccleston. And I remember he had like a very short cameo, or actually it wasn't even a cameo, it was just reused footage. But I remember I got emotional. I got emotional because I love Chris Eccleston. Anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Let's get right into it. Let's do our dailies first. So let me get into Time Guesser. Did you guys notice they updated it? Also there's a Discord. Should I join the Discord, do you think? Should I be like, ooh, I'm a little bear and I've been trying to try hard this game? Or do you think I'm gonna get mogged? Do you think they're gonna be like, oh, you score in the 40k when you're lucky and usually you're in the 30k? Wow, real impressive. I bet you feel real proud of yourself, pats on head. Or do you think... I'm pretty sure they're nice. I'm pretty sure they're nice and supportive, right? You're a bear. If they try, you can always maul them. That's true. That is true. That's true. But that's just how my anxiety talks, like, about things. I'm sure it's a very friendly community. It's just one of those, like, POV you have anxiety and you think everyone hates you for no reason, you know? Do you guys like me? I'm just kidding. I didn't even have my toggle on for that one. Alright, let's do our dailies. Okay, Farven handle. This looks pretty World War II-ish, doesn't it? Is this some kind of occupation, methinks? Oh. I hate rich people! Never underestimate the power of history and geography, nerds. Oh yeah, 100%. Alright, this, the armor does look kind of like World War II German, right? But I'm also not seeing any, like, certain insignias. Let's see, lots of people are kind of, like, looking over at them, being like, what the heck? What the hell? Let's see, Sotisgate? Kjor Retning? This feels Scandinavian, especially with the O with the line through it. Brodenhallen? It could be Germanic, but I don't know. Some of this is also giving, wait, Hans and Holm? It's giving Scandinavian. I thought this said Dunkelskog at first. Dunkestuin? Dietrichson? Isn't Dietrich German, though? Ulival Haveby? Is this some kind of occupation? Maybe Denmark, right? If we're looking at, like, possibly World War II military, but, like, we're also seeing some Scandinavian. Given that Denmark is just, you know, a little bit north of Germany. Mayhaps this is... maybe not Copenhagen because it's on an island, but... or maybe, yeah, maybe Copenhagen. Let's try Copenhagen during the 40s. 2 years off. Oh, it's not Copenhagen. It's the German Wehrmacht soldiers on a truck loaded with gear driving past bystanders in Oslo during the early days of the German invasion. Okay, so it was German occupation during World War II. Operation Weserübung? Oh, the numbers are so small. But we still got Scandinavia, right? We still got Dunkelskog. I love Dunkelskog. I too love the Dunkelskog. Little Skoggy. Ooh, okay. That flag, is that Hungary? Hungarian? Though the tint is kind of like messing me up because I thought that was blue at first. Just because of like the apparent color. I'm not colorblind by any means. It's just more of like, it's kind of like the blue dress, gold dress thing where it's like the apparent color because this white is a little off-white. It has a little bit of a green tint to it. So it's like, oh, if it has a green tint, this is actually blue. But I do think that's actually green. Which I think that means that this is the Hungarian flag, right? Posti. It looks like some kiddos marching. Those are some cool instruments. What is that? It's a cool horn instrument. I kind of want to say Hungary, but I'm wondering if the order of the colors is correct, is the thing. The hair and the photo quality is kind of, I'm thinking either late 60s, early 70s. Let's do 69. And then Hungary. Let's do Budapest. Hungary. Ah, no, it's not. It's Bulgaria. Oh no. I'm getting my flags wrong. And I'm trying to get back into Italia? Disgraceful. Disgraceful on many accounts. I'm getting my flags wrong. And just after on Monday when I was trying to learn flags, given that was the US 50 states flags, but still. And I was so confident about my European flags. Anyway. Youth marching band marching along Velbast Square in Kustendil, Bulgaria, while carrying a portrait of Bulgarian communist leader Todor Zhikov during a student holiday demonstration. And we were 15 years off. This is the 80s. Okay, okay, we could do better. Selfie stick, 2010s. 2014. You see the what came out of the World Trade Center? The what is it? The One World Center? One World. I forgot the name of the the successor building. It used to be the World Trade Center. Never forget. Where is it though? Hell's Kitchen. Here we go. One World Trade Center. WTC Memorial. There we go. So, oh, actually, this is on a bridge because you could see it on the background. So it's not going to be at the memorial. It's going to be on a bridge. So does that mean it's over here? Mayhaps? Let's do 2014. No, it was. Oh, it was the other bridge. Dang it. It was the other bridge. I'm big. Hello, Gojikins. Hello. I'm big in the bink. And this was 2017. So it was still 2010s. We didn't get too bad on location and time period at all. Okay, where's this round for? Royal Bank of Scotland. And then the car is looking, I want to say 80s, but we already got, one of the rounds was already in the 80s. Scotland. I mean, we could put it, let's put it here. Wait, any other clues? I know it said Scotland, but like, city-wise? Royal Bank of Scotland? I'm normal size. The travel agents. Point Claire Fabrics. Highland Recruitment. Let's go. Perth? Maybe this is 90s? I don't know. The cars look a little bit older. I know we just had one of the rounds we got wrong was already in the 80s, but maybe this is early 90s? Ah, it was more north. Inverness, Scotland during the early 90s. Oh, we were only a year off. Nice. You got the location right, but that was kind of a gimme. It literally said Scotland. Okay, these cars... What does this say? What? What is this? SCALEX? 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 Is this TRIC? It's kind of hard to read. Scalextric? Hotel Mediodia? Mediodia, maybe? So this is maybe Spanish speaking? I'm realizing the Spotify is kind of loud. Let me put it down a little. The, my vaporwave. What did you call me? Let's see. So maybe a Latin American country? Hotel, because Hotel Mediodía, that's like middle of the day or midday in Spanish. Colcon Flex. The cars, I want to say are they look 50s. They look 50s, but they could also be Man, I love vaporwave. Actually, let's see the hair. Hair is like getting a little bit longer. We're not seeing as many hats, so maybe this is like 70s, right? 71? I just am not sure on location. I've seen, so I know bimbo is also, other than also being like an insult, it's also a company that sells like cakes and like desserts and stuff, right? I've seen it in like, I've seen the truck around, and I do hear that like, is it like a Latin American company? Bimbo. Maybe, Probably thinking like maybe Mexico City then? I'm actually not sure. Any other clues? Let's just try Mexico City. I only eat Wonder Bread brought to me by a blonde. You don't like the bimbo? You don't like the bimbo? Alright, let's do 70s Mexico City. No! We're way up. That brought down our score by so much. Plaza del Emperador Carlos V in Madrid. It's Madrid. I should have been able to tell by the architecture. And it's late 60s. What's our score? No! We could have reached the 40K! I failed. I failed! It's okay. This just means we'll do better next time. If we know what's good for us, we'll do better next time. But look, we were so close. Actually, we were kind of 15 years off here. But I think it's more so like the geography here. We got way off. Copied. Beast. Did I do... Wait, did I do the... I did do the Wordle today. It's one of the first times I got it in 2. RIP 40K! I know, especially with the stream tomorrow. How could we? How could we? Ooh, okay, so let's do daily hue. This is our artwork for today. This looks amazing, but we do also have to change the hue and see what is possible. I feel like, if we look at the shading on this person's like face, maybe it's more towards like a blue, but I'm thinking desaturated and like darker. Oh no, lighter? I'm actually not sure. Let's do more towards purple, desaturated. Maybe the color is more of a Binka blurple, you know? And then, just because, like, it kind of matches the shading on the face, you know? Unless this is one of them fauvists who just kind of, like, does whatever with color. I do want to do a style study on the fauvists because, like, their name translates to, like, the wild ones, and it's because they, like, were really experimenting with color. And I kind of dig that. I kind of wanna do something on that. But let's guess and see. Okay, so we're 75. They stopped giving hints. I think they got wise to like how people were using like the like sometimes this would either be like red or yellow or orange, and then people are just kind of guessing based on that, you know? So I think they got wise to that and they got rid of it. So we're just gonna have to go off of some vibes. So we're at 75. So some things are close, some things are not. So let's maybe this is more of a green blue, and maybe so this has to be more saturated. Oh, maybe it's like super saturated. Or maybe something like this, like kind of like in the middle of these two bars, and then this. Whoa, this is like super vibrant. It's not something I would expect from a painting like this, but let's submit this guess. Ooh, we got less. Okay, so we got something wrong here. It's looking like the saturation we're a little bit close on. It is between blue and light blue. Or it's between this kind of like purple blue and like green blue. Which, this is a very pretty shade nonetheless. And then this is also narrowed down a little bit. We were a little bit closer to, maybe we're a little bit closer with like lightness then. If our lightness was 38, then maybe, yeah, maybe it's 43. And then the saturation, we originally had it at 27. So maybe it's somewhere here. Submit guess. Ooh, we're closer now, 84. We got the right hue. This is a very pretty color. What the heck? This is a very nice color. I'm kind of like interested in this artist, Sam McInnes. The lightness though, maybe somewhere here down the middle, and then maybe saturation. Let's see what looks right. Would something like this look more correct, or something like this where it's more saturated? Because the more saturated, the more deeper these dark colors over here are, and it does kind of match like the dark colors that you see in the figure's hair. Whereas here it's kind of washed out, so maybe it is meant to be a little bit more saturated. So let's see this. Ooh, lightness is correct. Now it's just saturation. Ooh, 97, we're so close. So it's either here or here. Oh, interesting. I think it's 59 because like every time we shift it to something else, the dark coloring over here gets a little washed out. So I want to say 59. Perfect! We did it. Nice. This is a very pretty color. What is this? Moderate cerulean. Let's share. Let's copy, paste. Very nice. And then let's learn a little bit more about this artwork and maybe this color as well. So this is moderate cerulean. A moderate blue, mid-tone, in the lineage of ultramarine, once worth more than gold as powered lapis lazuli. You know what? I believe that. I believe that this does kind of resemble like the lapis lazuli that you would see in like ancient Egyptian works, especially. It's usually with Egyptian, it's like lapis lazuli and carnelian, which is a type of orange that are kind of used together, kind of offset by gold. And that's just a really nice color palette because blue and orange are complementary, aka they're on opposite ends of the color wheel. And then yellow is kind of not really in the middle. But it's a good kind of complement to that color combination. This is just nice in general. I want to find out more about this. Melodrama by Sam McInnes, 2017. The cover art for Lord's 2017 album. I gotta be paying more attention to Lord. Cause we can never be royal, or however that song went. Is a moody, expressive oil painting by American artist Sam McInnes. It depicts the singer, it's Lorde herself, lying in bed, capturing the vulnerable morning after feeling of waking up in the shadows with an electric blue hue, and a warm morning light casting across her cheek. This is just I'm gonna save this. It's WebP. It's WebP. It's not JPEG. Hate. But we also have a couple of other works in moderate cerulean. We have The Nymphes en Fleurs by Monet. We have what looks like color field abstract expressionism. This is from the 50s, Pierre Solage. Landscape with Stars. This is very pretty. Pex Cool, hello. We just finished the Daily Hue and Time Guesser. I got I got with Time Guesser. I thought it was Mexico City and it was oh wait. You did it already, right? Yeah, you did it already. I thought it was Mexico City and it wasn't. It was Madrid. What the hell is a WebP? Give me a JPEG. Exactly. Exactly. This one, Landscape with Stars, looks pretty cool as well. What is this? Henri Edmond Cross. Or Delacroix. Night in Pisa. This is a Magritte! I love Magritte. He's a surrealist. You know what? This is kind of ominous. This is something you would kind of see in like a video game. Like a post-apocalyptic or like surrealist video game. Because look at these like geometric features in the background. That's kind of scary. It feels a little like, you know, Shadow of the Colossus or something. Moderately cerulean, moderately considerate. It's true. It's true. But alright, so these are some really cool... Oh, this is a Georgia O'Keeffe. Very nice. Yeah, really nice works here. That, you know what? I'm gonna save this too. Saved. It's another WebP file. How bare they? That's all I ask. How bare they? But alright, let's go ahead and jump to Anthropium, and then we're gonna get into the art appreciation. That painter from Breaking Bad. You know, me and Beans are watching Better Call Saul. We're actually at the last episode of the 4th season. Don't spoil anything. But it's a romp. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. And to answer your question, yes. Alright, Anthropium. Ooh, this looks like a sword. What's it called? Like a sword handle. It's the thing where like this is where you put the sword through. I forget what it's called, but this looks Japanese. These are bamboo, it's gilded. The symbols themselves are Chinese, but it could also be kanji. But I don't know, it's giving Japanese. The only thing is I don't know time period. But let's just say let's say Kyoto. Yeah, Hiltgard, right? He becomes a crooked lawyer and starts selling meth with a chemistry teacher. No freaking way. Tsuba, yeah. So you got the Japanese term, that's Tsuba, and George has it in English, the Hiltgard. Tsuba if you're a weeb. It's okay, we're all weebs. We're all weebs. You're among friends. I don't know time periods well when it comes to Japanese history, so let's just go ahead and put it to here, 1600s. Submit. Ah, close enough. Not too bad. And it is in fact a sword guard, also known as a tsuba. It's made out of copper gold alloy, shakudo, gold, copper, silver alloy, shibuichi, and copper. Originally utilitarian fittings made to protect the hand from the cuts of the opponent's sword. From the 16th century onward, it became more decorative. It became a specialty among some craftsmen. Oh, cool. Cool, cool. Cross guard over tsuba, don't at me. The controversy. The controversy. Have the debate in the chats, if you so please. Do you think anyone's gonna really be like? Do you think there are like Tsuba like defenders that are like actually, actually. All right, next round. What is this? This looks. I'm actually not 100% sure. It looks like ancient, as in like one of the cultures that you learn about in 6th grade with like ancient civilizations. Because first glance, I wanted to say like, not Gandhara, Harappo, which is like Indian, South Asian. Subarashi! I'm triggered. There are some folks, yes. JK. But do you think they're here? Do you think they're here right now? Sword nerves weebs are a rowdy sort. True, true. But do you think they're here now? Is it Peck's cool? But something about this is, oh my god, what was it called? I think one of the oldest cultures in South Asia, in India, is called Mohenjo-daro. But I think it's also known as Harappa, or I think it's located in Harappa. I just don't know where that is. Because it could be that, or it could also be Greek, like very early Greek, you know? Like BCE. I'm talking like BCE. So you know what? Let's put it like somewhere like here. 2000 BCE. It could be earlier. I could be overthinking it, but let's see if this is in Indian. The only thing is like India is a big subcontinent, so like I don't know where Mohenjo-daro is. Oh no. Let's see, Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Bhopal. Is there any like which rivers can we depend on here? I know the Ganges goes all across here. Let's go. Let's go like here. Just a guess. Submit guess. Ooh, I was close-ish. It's actually here, Central Asia. Central Asian figurine, terracotta, early 12th century. Ah, I was way off time period-wise. Looks like a horse head. So that kind of makes sense. If it was a horse head, then you would go to like where like the steppe culture would be, right? True. Okay. So we were pretty off on that. But it does look like a horse. Alright, next round. Ooh, this looks cool. This looks like Benin, right? This is sick. This kind of looks like a robot, right? And it's, I think this is some kind of metal, right? Yeah, this is brass, clay, teeth! It's made out of teeth. Oh, that's cool. I don't know, like, I remember, there was one museum that I went to that went over, like, these kind of, I don't know what to call it. It's one of the, like, kind of almost like effigy type statues that you would, they were mostly made out of wood, though. There's a certain spot in, I want to say, like, East Africa? Or maybe West Africa, where it's almost like you nail nails into like this wooden statue, but you also kind of like nail the your prayers into the statue by doing so. It was pretty cool. I don't know why reading teeth kind of reminds me of that, because like it kind of reminds me of like where the origins of like Hoodoo, also known as like, well, it kind of became popularized as like voodoo, but it does come from a religion called Vodou, which also like kind of synonymous with like Hoodoo. It is a closed practice though. It's a closed religious practice, aka like even if you're interested in it, you can't practice it unless you have some kind of like heritage connected to it. So I know very vaguely of it, but that's kind of the extent. But let's go ahead and say this is Benin City, and then let's say that it's like later, you know, let's say that it's like closer to contemporary. Ooh, only slightly off, but it is Benin City. So this is Lower Niger bronze industry. Figure male warrior. It's been used by art historians to classify ancient copper alloy sculpture discovered in the area of Niger Valley that could not be traced directly to the infamous metalworking centers of Benin and Ife. Ah, the Ife. I've heard of. I think Ife is the culture that I might be talking about with like the nail in the woods. VTuber male mentioned. Moogie sticks. Hello. Hello. But okay, next round. Ooh, this looks cool too. This might also be, wait, I was gonna say this might also be Benin. Because this could be a cheetah, but it could also be a jaguar, meaning that it would be America's, right? This is also brass iron. I'm kind of tempted to say Benin City again. Right? And then we do it closer to here. Because it could be a cheetah. Could be a jaguar. I could be very wrong, but let's do it anyway. Hey, how about that? Looks like a jaguar. It does, right? That's what made me doubt myself. It's like, it looks like a jaguar, but if it's brass, I want to say Benin, because like if you were to see like jaguar style artwork in the Americas, I feel like it wouldn't be brass. I feel like it might be gold. Maybe ceramic, you know? Leopard, I don't know, my big cat. They're easy to confuse, if I'm being honest, yeah. And then we got the time period, like, approximately, right? We could have been better. But at its origins, the centralized city-state of Benin was founded by Edo-speaking peoples. The accounts of by official court historians and descriptions provided by visitors evoke a vibrant cultural center continually redefined by its leadership through shifting internal and external power dynamics. Ah, interesante. All right, round 5. What is this? These. So this looks like a metalwork, and the proportions are looking European. Ooh, but also look at that. Look at the little claws. That looks like horses. That looks like chariots. So either like if this is really old, this is steppe, you know, culture. But I'm also thinking maybe like Greco-Roman. But also these etchings, I don't know. It feels like a combination of different things because like this looks European. This looks like something you might see like during like either Greco-Roman classical or Renaissance. But then the little feet, something about that feels like East Asian, right? You just know yeah, the small cats are what you really need to know, really. So this is bronze. And it's two winged figures holding a nude figure over here. It's like the etchings that are kind of throwing me for a loop. Wait. Look at this art style. The art style of like the etchings is kind of... This is European, I feel. And we are seeing... Ooh, actually this might be Greek because there's like armor here and then there's like straight up a nude guy with a shield. The style kind of reminds me of Greek. I've just never seen anything of like this, like, I don't know, like made of bronze like this with these etchings. That's why like a part of me is thinking maybe this is Renaissance. Yeah, they're mostly naked. The dongage is out. I hate how it's like highlighting. I keep on like clicking back and forth because like I hate how this like highlights everything. There we go. We have some kind of creature over here too. Stop highlighting everything. I just want to scroll through it. I'm starting to think either Greco-Roman or Renaissance, which doesn't really like narrow it down that much, but maybe Italy? I don't know, like the etchings kind of remind me of like Greco-Roman pottery. Oh, Orlando, hello, magandang gabinka sa inyong lahat. Ako si Bibinka. And then we're playing a game called Anthropium, oh Orlando. It's kind of like Time Guesser, but we're given a like artifact over here and we have to figure out where it's from in the time period. Okay, what if we say it's Renaissance? What if we say it's Renaissance? Let's put it over here at like 15 hundo. What if we say like that? I feel like it might be ancient, but let's just try it out. No! Oh, we did get Roman though. It's a sister. Sister. A toiletry box. Okay, so it is Italian, but it's more ancient. It's BCE. This is the largest and finest of the museum's engraved ciste. Or I guess ciste, if it's Italian. Cylindrical body is decorated with 3 friezes, an unusual treatment. On the major frieze is a series of episodes from the Trojan War in Homer's Iliad, including what seems to be a sacrifice of Trojan prisoners. The minor friezes, above and below, depict battle scenes and chariot races, but also include unrelated subjects. Griffins attacking a horse. Oh, interesting. You were betting on BCE? Nice. We got the location, and it's cool because like it's a pretty small like location over here. Just not the time period. So next round. Ooh, I think this is Mesoamerican. This looks like Goldworks. I think the question is Colombian or Caribbean. Or even like Central America. Could be Costa Rica, Panama, you know? But it could also be Colombian, I don't know. I'm looking at the features mostly. Cause like, it's not in color, but I feel like this is probably gold. Oh, it literally says gold. It literally says gold right there. Yeah. I kind of want to say Colombian, but it could also be over here. It could also be Costa Rica, Panama. And it could also be the Caribbean. I'm still not great at like differentiating them. So let's put it over here. And let's say it's 1,000. Submit. No, it was Costa Rica. It was Costa Rica. Dang it. So it's by a culture called the Diquis, and it's a bird pendant from Costa Rica. Let's see. Any other? Oh, there's not that much other info. But here's similar works. This is Chiriqui or Chiriqui. A frog pendant. Wait, this is so cool. Little forg. This is also Costa Rica. Okay, so if we were to like get good at identifying whether something is Costa Rican, I feel like for one, the like metalwork, the fact that it's like gold, but also these like loop-de-loops, the use of like lines in conjunction with like bigger kind of like geometric shapes, maybe. But it's hard because like Colombian art also like uses a lot of gold work and Caribbean art as well. Double eagle pendant. Oh yeah, you see there's like this little bit of like the small line work, but then like bigger geometric features. So that's something good to keep in mind. But it's okay. We learn from this. We learn. Ooh, we have paper. This looks like maybe Tibetan Buddhist. Unless, is there any... Ah, stop highlighting everything. Why is it highlight? And this looks like it's either woven or paper, which leads me to believe... Oh, we have an ad break already? What the heck? Forg mention. I can't believe we already have our ad break. We haven't even yapped that much today. It could be Tibetan Buddhist. It could be Southeast Asian. Those are like the main two that I always confuse. But if it's on something like linen or paper... Oh no, it's distemper on cloth. Then it's probably 1500s and later. So let's make a guess really quick. Let's do 1625. And then let's do Tibet, like Nepal. Maybe like here. And then let's see. Okay, we got like... We barely got in like in the area. And we got the right time period. Very nice. Cool, cool. So yeah, it looks like it's Nepalese or like Tibetan Buddhist. Distemper on cloth. Any other details about this? This is sick though. Kind of like the working on like black paper in general is very cool. But you know what? We do have an ad break. What's distemper? I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna look it up during the break. Nepalese, Nepalese. But I'll see you guys after the ad break. Don't make fun of me. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. And we are back. So back. Blame the California accent. It's true. I could just blame my accent. Nepalese. The more I look into accent stuff, the more I kind of see like aspects of my accent. Because I'm like, I feel like because of Hollywood, the California accent, or sorry, because of Berrywood, the California accent is like, I don't know, like I think a lot of aspects of it kind of bleed into like kind of just general American accent stuff. But I think some things that are uniquely Californian is the fact that we never say the T in like words like mountain, or like Santa Monica, Santa Clarita, you know, like that. There's no T. Like we don't say the T. See, if I say like, oh, over there by those mountains. There was another word. I was like talking to Beans and I said a certain, you know what? I feel like we say our T's less than, you know, when people make fun of British people for saying what. I feel like it should be the Californians that we should be making fun of, you know? I mean, it's not like people don't already make fun of California for every reason here and there. But anyway, let's get back into it. I was just admiring. Oh, I found out what distemper is. I was gonna make a joke about like, y'all are about to see distemper if you trash talk the Californians one more time. But no, distemper is a type of paint. And it looks like it's made out of water, chalk, and animal-based glue. Wait, what kind of animal? Oh no! But yeah, it's a type of paint. I actually didn't know that. I wonder if the etymology of this word is similar to that of like tempera paint, which I believe is paint that includes like eggs, you know? Eggs. But okie dokie, let's get back to entropy, and we still have 3 more rounds left. Let's do it. Ooh, what's this? Oh, this is like gold work, but it's very like small and lacy. It is gold. This looks to be very small. Why can't I? There we go. Do we go back to the Americas for this one? It's very ornate gold, which makes me think that maybe not Americas. Like I said, it's not like they didn't have ornate gold, but just not in this style. It's very like spindly, right? This looks like it could be like some kind of bug. I'm actually not sure. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. Where could it be? With something like this. When in doubt, China. That is a good point. There's something about like this in particular, like this little, because I think this is supposed to be some kind of insect. But it could also look like a face. Okay, trying to like scroll it. There we go. I've been mogged by China several times. Oh no. We'll see if we get mogged by China. There's something about this that like this could also be a face. Like these are the eyes and this is like the whiskers, right? Or some kind of whisker. And it kind of does remind me of like Nazca ceramics, like Peruvian ceramics, right? Because they have like a little like the way that they show faces sometimes kind of looks like this, but there's something about like this like spiral design up here that is making me second guess. Could be India. I'm trying to think of like what kind of like Indian gold works I've seen, because all the work that I've seen out of India is usually like these really ornate illustrations, right? But and then like also stoneworks. So like for example, stoneworks of yakshas, which are like kind of nature spirits. You could be right. I don't know. All of these could be right. China, India. But with like very ornate gold work like this, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure where to begin. I remember one time we had like kind of a like very small spoon that was made out of gold, and it ended up being like Eastern European, which was so random. Like in 100 years, I wouldn't have been able to guess that, right? But I'm not sure. Maybe Africa. Maybe West Africa. I'm very tempted to do Americas again, but I'm just not 100% sure. It really could be anywhere. It could be India, it could be China, right? Or it could be, oh, it could be Southeast Asia. It could be Southeast Asia too, because they also have a very rich, like, gold culture, right? I think we did see a gold work that kind of reminded me of this from Vietnam. And now I'm tempted to say like Southeast Asia. Let's try Vietnam. Let's try like closer to contemporary. I'm not 100% sure. I feel like this is gonna be 100% wrong, but let's just see. Oh no, it was Americas. It was Colombian. No, dang. I mean, my earlier guess would have been here. My earlier guess would have been like southern Peru. And I was just talking about how gold works. Like you see a lot of like cool gold works out of Colombia. No. We got the time period like pretty close though. I know, dang. If I just trusted my gut, it's the same thing with time guess, right? I just gotta keep trusting my gut, right? Ooh, what's this? A cocodrilo. A crocodile. Ooh, this is making me think Oceania. This specifically is making me think Oceania. And it's wood. It looks like a crocodile, right? Fun fact, you would only find alligators in the Americas, and everywhere else is crocodiles. So if you're ever confused by like whether you're seeing a crocodile or like an alligator, first off, if you know where the video or picture is, if it's Americas, probably a gator. But anywhere else, it's a crocodile. So like Philippines, Egypt, crocodile, you know? But another thing is that alligators also have more rounded snoots. It's a little bit more rounded, while crocodiles have more V-shaped snouts. The more you know. So I'm thinking Oceania. I'm just not sure if it would be like Papua New Guinea or say like Samoa, you know? Crocodilo bombardino, tung 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 sahur. Isn't that the like Italian brain rot memes or something like that? Oh, maybe. Oh, Maori? I don't know. The art looks more like, I would say like Samoa or like Melanesia. Let's do Papua New Guinea. Let's do Papua New Guinea, and then let's say that it's like here 1500. Submit guess. We got it! We freaking got it! I'm so glad we're starting to like get a handle on what Papua New Guinean art looks like. So this is a sacred slit gong, a waken. In many parts of New Guinea, the sounds produced by a certain type of musical instrument played during ceremonies are said to be the voices of supernatural beings. Wait, I love that. It's kind of like how in certain Filipino folk dances, they have like women will have like bells in their hair or on their ankles because it sounds like it's a sound that's pleasing to the spirits. Italian brain rot animals, tralalero, tralala. I you know what's funny is I only know about that because of the students that I worked with this past year or the year before, I forget, but I remember. But cool, we got Papua New Guinea. Oh, this is among the Sepik peoples. Very cool. All right, this one, ooh, very ornate. This is East Asian. What's interesting is I think this is pearl. I think this is like some kind of pearl inset. Ooh, this is, I believe this is a specific, like, not deity, but like you would show deities like this to imply wisdom, I want to say. And the fact that it looks like it's inset with like pearl, like mother of pearl. This is looking Chinese, as well as how they depict the plants, as well as the architecture here. I want to say China, but we've also been wrong with China before. Like every time we think it's China, it's actually Japan, and every time we think it's Japan, it's Korea, and every time we think it's Korea, it's actually China. But I don't know. This looks like something that you would also trade during the Manila Galleon trade, in which basically the Philippines was used as like a center of trade to the Americas because it was a Spanish colony at the time. So they would trade with Nueva España, which is basically modern day Mexico. So you would find a lot of like different Chinese, like East Asian and like American wares which were traded via the Manila galleons. Is it worse when adults brain rot to you or when your students brain rot to you? I don't know, honestly, because like if I like experience the if I experience the like memes enough, I end up just kind of like, if you can't beat them, join them, you know? Like with the whole 6-7 thing. I just really like annoying people with the 6-7 because I feel like that makes it faster for the trend to die if like if an adult of my age is doing it, you know? If I do 6-7 to the kids, that's more likely to be like that's so cringe, and like that makes the lifespan of the meme like shorter. So I'm doing my part is what I'm saying. 6-7. Anyway, let's just say this is China. I just don't know where in China, so we're just gonna say Beijing. And if, let's just say this is around the time of the Manila galleon trade, that would be 1500s to 1800s. So that would be like somewhere over here. Submit guess. Yo, we got it! We clocked it! Look, we even got the time period right. This was during the Manila galleon trade. It's a tray with Taoist figures. Cool, 16th century. The 8 figures assembled on the riverbank represent the 8 immortals, a group of Taoist deities who originated from the legends of the Tang dynasty. They can each be identified by their personal attributes, including the flute, the staff, the sword, the flower, and the gourd. I need to learn these! I need to learn these! I need to learn these. I need to learn the identifying features of the 8 immortals. Oh, that was the final round. Alright, cool. We got top 5%, not too bad, especially considering we did pretty bad on this one, the serpent. And I feel so bad because I literally just talked about the cool Colombian gold works, you know? But cool, we got top 5%, baby! And then we got 80,000. Very cool, very nice. Share your results. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the art appreciation. Because we got a lot to look at, but but we'll see how much my voice can last, right? Okay, I have my chat up on my left side. Let's get into the art appreciation, shall we? Like I said, because we're looking at so many today, there might be some that I just kind of like look at and I'm like, oh, cool, neat, and then there might be some where I like yap about a little bit more. So let's go off of that. Water Fox. Okay, so Patrick Caulfield is one of the artists that, like I said, I had encountered one of their artworks through Daily Hue, one of our daily games. It was specifically this artwork. Hemingway never ate here. And the composition of it just, I don't know, I was taken by it. I was enthralled. I was amazed by it. I just thought it was really neat. Because it's just this like kind of big solid color with like some details that imply that it's a room, you know? It's very, very simple, a little bit surreal in a way. But I just wanted to find out more about this guy. So with this artist and our next artist, I'm gonna admit to you right now, I didn't do that much in terms of like pre-research. Because sometimes when I do art appreciation, like I'll look at what people recommended and I'll do a little bit of like preparation research, but I didn't do that because I kind of wanted to just read up on it right away and take a look at some of their other artwork. So let's look through this. So according to this, which by the way, let me put this in the chat so you guys can admire it. You guys can also mire it on your own. So this is a work called Hemingway Never Ate Here. You know what? Let's learn about Patrick Caulfield like as a whole, and then we'll look at some of his like works. So Patrick Joseph Caulfield, C-B-E-R-A, don't know what those letters mean, was an English painter and printmaker known for his bold canvases. Oh, ooh, he makes prints. I wonder if that's what this is. What is this? Photorealism, pop art, genre. Do we not have the references? Oh, we'll learn more about this. I kind of want to know what the what's it called? Medium is. But okay, he's a printmaker, so that means that he might, you know, I'm imagining like silkscreen printing, but maybe he used a different technique. But known for his bold canvases, which often incorporated elements of photorealism within a pared down scene. He was associated with British pop art, though he considered himself a formal artist. I think that was one of the movements you were seeing getting into contemporary times, getting into like the 80s and 90s, in order for people to kind of differentiate themselves from abstract expressionism and abstract art and conceptual art. So I think this is one of those guys that like, well, it's interesting because like some of his works can be kind of interpreted as like minimalistic, right? But I wonder if he was like, nah, that's not me. That's not me, fam. His Wikipedia article says that, so same thing, examples of his work are pottery and still life ingredients. He was born January 29, 1936 in Acton, West London. And then during World War II, his family returned to Bolton, where his parents were born, to work at a factory. He secured a position as a filing clerk and later transferred to a design studio, working on food display and carrying out menial tasks. At 17, he joined the Royal Air Force at RAF Northwood, preempting requirement for national service, inspired by... Oh, there's more. I'm not going to read all that. I'm not going to read about that. Inspired by Moulin Rouge. He learned about Henri de Toulouse-Lautrec. Spent his free time attending evening classes. Oh, okay. So he didn't start learning more about art until, let's see, he was born 36. Oh, guys, I'm so bad at math. 36, 46, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50, 51, 52. So he was 16, right? Is my math right on that? No, 19... Wait. I was so bad at math. I'm just gonna use the calculator. Okay, 1952 minus 1936. Yeah, he was 16. He was 16. Okay. Okay, so he was he was taking evening classes at the age of 16, and like that's where he was learning about art. Okay. And then studied there until I guess his like 20s, right? She's got the calc, yeah. She's got the calc. Progressing. Contemporaries include David Hockney. I think he just passed away, this artist. David Hockney? I thought I heard that he just passed away, like, a couple days ago. I could be wrong. It could be clickbait, you know? But we've seen a couple of his works. And then he's associated with the pop art movement, but he wanted... This was a label that he opposed, seeing himself as a formal artist. Okay. He does have some aspects that you could associate with pop art, because when people usually think of pop art, they think of Andy Warhol, right? And he also worked with like printmaking. So I'm wondering if like that's what like these works are, because they kind of like remind, like, it's kind of reminiscent of like Andy Warhol's like screen prints. Basically, which if you don't know how screen printing works, it's like, imagine like putting a, you know what, I was gonna say like screen printing, like that's something a little bit more fancy, but yo, Mega Bronson, hello, how you doing? We're doing our art appreciation. We're looking at this British guy, Patrick Caulfield. So his works kind of look like prints, and I just want you to imagine like a stamp, basically. Imagine like a stamp, but like there's different iterations of the stamp where like if you keep adding color onto it, oh, I'm big, British in it, then you can eventually like make something like this. And this looks like it's based off of Picasso's, what is it, Women of Avignon, right? So it looks like it's, oh, you know what? It's based off that, but it's like the back. It's the back of that same artwork. Wait, I'm curious. I kind of want to see. I want to compare and contrast. Women of Avignon, Picasso. I didn't put that together until now, because I thought like, oh, it looks just like this one, the Women of Avignon. But I didn't realize like it's the same thing but like back. It's like it's the same thing but like from a different angle, which I think is pretty cool. That's a pretty cool concept. Like I wouldn't be surprised if someone has done the same with like the Mona Lisa, you know, where it's like you just see like her backside. That's a pretty cool like just like concept in and of itself. But this is the one that, like I said, we saw via Daily Hue, which I thought was pretty neat. And I do wonder if this is like through like screen printing or something. Copy my work, just don't make it too obvious. The thing with that is that like I think that's actually a pretty cool concept of like you're copying the work, but you're kind of quite literally looking at it through a different angle, especially because if it's based off Picasso's work, his whole thing was cubism. And with cubism, other than the obvious kind of like influences from African art, the whole thing with cubism was to kind of like portray different points of view all at the same time. So this is kind of like commentating on that, where it's like, oh, you missed an angle. Here's the angle that you missed. You know, like Picasso is kind of trying to see like, okay, the eyes are frontal, but the nose is sideways. It's in profile. You know, like the breast over here is in profile, but the eye is frontal. So he's playing around with a bunch of different like angles here, and Caulfield is coming in like, oh, here's the angle that you missed, by the way. I think that's a pretty cool like I don't know, turn. It's a pretty cool like kind of I can't even say a deconstruction, but it's almost like a commentary. It's almost like a conversation between the two artists. Because when it comes to like this idea of like copying other people's works, I've seen people do it in a way that's more egregious and in a way that's more like, I don't like this. I'm thinking mostly of the banana guy, the banana tape guy, because I think he straight up just like took a photo of Marcel Duchamp's work. I think that was him. And then there's another person, their name keeps escaping me, but I remember when I took a history of photography class in undergrad, one of the last photographs that we like, I remember we looked at photographs during the Great Depression. You have that famous photograph of like the mother with her two kids like during the Dust Bowl. There was a photographer in, I don't remember if it was like the 80s or 90s, but basically they just took a photo of that photo and said like, oh, this is like my artwork. Not necessarily doing plagiarism, but doing kind of like, oh, this is my commentary on like who really owns the photo. You know, it's getting into that like kind of conceptual art type of thing. And it's just one of like, it's one of those like, I see what you're trying to do, but this is not the execution for it. Like, you're literally just plagiarizing, and like, I feel like you're only getting away with it because you're rich, you know? Because I kind of like when people do like conceptual art as a whole. I kind of like when people try to like do some kind of commentary on like ownership of art and stuff like that. Kind of like with Banksy and his whole like shredding of the like when someone like buys his work at an auction and it auto shreds his work. I feel like that's a fun commentary on like the ownership of art. But if you're just plagiarizing someone else's art and being like, yeah, I did that. It's like, it's not even cheeky. It's not even cheeky. But all that to say is why I kind of appreciate works like this, where it's like, I see what you're doing. It's a reference, you know? And we kind of are going to touch on that too when we look at this CalArt short film over here, because like there are some clear references here to very famous artwork such as like Gustav Klimt's The Kiss, as well as The Birth of Venus by, I believe, Botticelli. But as you can see, there's also a lot of artistry that stands on its own. Like, even if it wasn't a reference to those artworks, this is still very beautiful, like aesthetically pleasing to look at. So same, I personally feel like you could say the same about this. Like, this is also just impressive on its own. Because like, just imagine like if you were to do something similar with like the Mona Lisa, right? Where you have to kind of like, let's say that you wanted to make a painting of the Mona Lisa, but it's from like another angle entirely. You know what? Now I'm like kind of tempted to like just like demo what I mean by this. All right, give me a second. MS Paint, projector, my secrets. There we go. Like, imagine if you were to draw the Mona Lisa, but like here's the frame. You know, you got your like fancy frame. I'm doing this with mouse, which is why it's not great. Here's the frame, and then here's like Da Vinci, right? He's like painting, and then like here's the Mona Lisa, but it's like the back of her head. You know? Do you get the vision? do you see the vision? And he's just like painting. Here's like the easel. And there's like mountains and stuff in like behind the frame. This would be a cool surrealist artwork, right? This would be a cool like surreal, like play on surrealism. Wait, can I do the fill tool or will it bleed out? It's not bleeding out. How about them beans? You know? Like what if you did the Mona Lisa but this? I think that would be a cool concept because then you'd have to like go in and research like, oh, what does like Renaissance era, like what do Renaissance era dresses look like from behind? Like what kind of hairstyle would she have had? And if we're doing this in that like we're looking into the frame where like Da Vinci is like painting, you know, like what did he look like? What did the easels back then look like? What did his workshop look like? Like you still have to do the research and then you still have to like what's it called? Like you still have to actually paint the thing too. You know? So I don't know. It's a cool concept that I didn't even like realize until I took a closer look at this picture. I was like, ah, he's just making a reference to like the ladies of Avignon. Wait a minute. Wait a darn second. But all right, let's see if there's any other art that we can kind of touch on with Patrick Caulfield, and then we'll move on to the next one. But yeah, these are pretty cool. I like this one. It's very minimalist, but you can kind of like infer what's going on here. Like it's a room. You're inside a room. You can make out some things like a picture frame over here, a beer, and it looks like sunlight coming out from the window, and it's kind of like not reflecting, but it's showing onto this like green wall. But it's also very minimalist, you know? So very interesting all around. So yeah, that's a little bit about Patrick Caulfield. Let's go ahead and move on to our next artist. But let me go ahead and get a drink of water too. Should I call myself Da Binky if I ever do Renaissance era like artwork in that style? Should I just be like, call me Da Binky? Okay, let's talk about Joseph Stella. This is another artist who I only found out about because of Daily Hue. And he is part of a movement known as the Futurists, which I've vaguely heard of. When I was doing the decade studies, which by the way are coming back next week. We still have to do the 1900s and the 1910s. So next week is going to be the 1900s. We're going to flip it and reverse it. We're going to rewind. We're going to whoop, 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 whoop. But I remember learning a little bit about the Futurists when I believe I was doing research on conceptual art and kind of like abstract art. Because a lot of people kind of like, when people talk about like the origins of conceptual art, and like contemporary art in general, sometimes people talk about the surrealists and the Dadaists during the 1920s and 30s, but people also point to the Italian futurists, which admittedly I did not do that much research on, but that's what today is for. That's what we're going to be doing right now. So this is Joseph Stella. He's an American painter, but he was born in Italy in 1877. So this is before the time of Patrick Caulfield. He died shortly after World War II. So let's see. What does this say? I kind of want to read this quote, but why is it? You know what? We're gonna refresh. There we go. I guess these are quotes. I was thrilled to find America so rich with so many new motifs to be translated into a new art. Steel and electricity have created a new world. And I wonder if that's his exact signature. I have seen the future and it is good. We will wipe away the religions of old and start anew. Interesting. At my arrival in Paris, Fauvism, we just mentioned Fauvism. Fauvism, Cubism, and Futurism were in full swing. There was in the air the glamour of a battle, the holy battle raging for the assertion of a new truth. My youth plunged full into it. I was thrilled to find America so... Oh wait, we already got this one. A new drama had surged from a unmerciful violation of darkness at night by the violent blaze of electricity and a new polyphony was ringing all around with the scintillating, highly colored lights. Ah, POV. You see what is it? Times Square for the first time. During the last years of the war, I went to live in Brooklyn in the most forlorn region of the oceanic tragic city in Williamsburg near the bridge. Brooklyn gave me a sense of liberation. A vast view of her sky in opposition to the narrow one of New York was a relief, and at night in her solitude I used to find intact the green freedom of my own self. Very artsy-fartsy. Cool, cool. I had witnessed the growth and expansion of New York proceeding parallel to the development of my own life, and therefore I was feeling entitled to interpret the Titanic efforts. The conquest already obtained by the imperial city in order to become what now she is in the center of the world. Ah, so it seems like he migrated to America, to the US, and just found it like amazing, in awe of like the lights, the electricity, the steel. So let's see when he came to the US, because it seems like it was around the time that you started to see more, I don't know, razzle dazzle, right? So let's see what this says. Joseph Stella's professional career left a lasting mark on American modernism, but it was just as fraught and unsteady as his personal life. Following a hugely influential 1913 Armory show, he became a key figure in the New York art world. His style and subject matter changed frequently throughout his career, reflecting his own search of meaning and identity as an immigrant working in a rapidly changing urban America. Perhaps because of his outsider status, his images of industrial America were his most successful and influential. Indeed, his images of New York City landmarks such as the Brooklyn Bridge are depicted with the power and honesty only truly possible from a truly dynamic mind. Oh, okay. Yeah, this guy really liked New York City. Reminds me of Walt Whitman. Ah. I like when you say, or when you type out New York City, I keep thinking of What We Do in Shadows. of like Matt Berry and his like delivery where he's like, New York City, you truly are the most devious bastard in New York City. This is how we talk in Tucson, Arizona. Exactly. Nice. You'll love to see it. Okay, so accomplishment. Although famous for his depictions of American scenes, Stella was never fully at home in his adopted country. He spent long spells traveling and working in Europe, only returning to New York when necessary. He was responsible for bringing futurism to the United States. Let's do a little bit of reading on futurism, because admittedly I'm not as well read on it. I've seen some of these works before. Okay. Let's just read the summary and then we'll go from there. Focusing on progress and modernity, the futurists sought to sweep away traditional artistic notions and replace them with energetic celebration of the machine age. It's kind of reminding me of like the kind of energy you'd see in neo-expressionism during the 80s and 90s with Jean-Michel Basquiat. Like it's kind of like you could see in like stuff like this, where you could see in like the paint strokes how much energy, like you can kind of imagine the artists being like, yeah, I'm having fun with this. We're gonna do these big sweeping motions, you know? Focus was placed on creating a unique dynamic vision of the future, and artists incorporated portrayals of urban landscapes, as well as new technologies such as trains, cars, and airplanes into their depictions. Speed, violence, and the working classes were all glorified by the group as ways to advance change, and their work covered a wide variety of art forms, including architecture, sculpture, theater, literature, theater, music, and even food. Ah, okay. Very cool. And this was, what, around 1909 to 1940s. Ah, okay. Interesting. I feel like we're going to be seeing this during our next decade study. I feel like we're going to run into the futurists. And I think same with like Fauvism and Cubism as well. So we're going to be looking into the beginnings of like modern art around this point. Also, give me a second. It's getting dark. The sun is finally setting at 8 p.m. So I need to turn the lights on, the LED lights. Okay, there we go. Okay, so Joseph Stella brought this movement to the US, was a leading figure in the burgeoning precisionist movement. I have actually not heard of precisionism. What is this? Images of factories, skyscrapers, bridges, road and rail networks, steelworks, and rural scenes featuring grain elevators and depots were the order of the day for precisionists. Though it never published a manifesto or even defined itself as a movement, a loose-knit group of American modernists were united in their vision of a truly homegrown American art. Ah, okay. It does kind. Oh, okay. So they're using like what's this called again? The triangle building. Wall Street. Oh, very geometric. Interesting. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, this is Joseph Stella. Oh wow. It does kind of have touches of cubism in it. Like a lot of what's it called? A lot of what's it called? A lot of use of like kind of geometric figures, but also kind of playing around with those geometric figures. Yo, Plata64, hello. You're joining us as we're doing our art appreciation. We're looking at the work of Joseph Stella. So he was a Italian-American futurist, but he also was a leader in this movement called Precisionism. And yes, the Flatiron Building. Thank you for reminding me the name of that building. Thank you, thank you. Of the 1920s and 30s. While the subjects and even the style of his work varied, he maintained a precisionist interest in distinct areas of line and color throughout the duration of his career. In spite of his very modernist interest, the influence of historical European art is ever present, from the stained glass quality of his paintings to the references to Renaissance and Gothic architecture and altarpieces. His Italian artistic heritage informed his works throughout the course of his career. Ah, so we're seeing a lot of like exploration with like what was then modern art, with like the use of like geometric figures, a lot of play with color. It seems like he's also referencing things like Renaissance. Ah, this is not a big picture. This is not a big picture. Oh wait, this? No, this is as big as it gets. Okay, let's see if I can find this. Let's see if I can find this just through a good old DuckDuckGo search. Ooh, okay, I found a pretty sizable example. Here we go. Oh, this is beautiful. It's this one. This is Battle of Lights, Coney Island, Mardi Gras. Oh, this is interesting. This is beautiful. Look at all the like colors. It's a bit hard to parse out what's going on though. It's like it's this explosion of shapes and color, but it's kind of hard to make out like what exactly, because you see like the words calm and park here, but there's so much of an explosion of color. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't tell what's like the ground and like what's a building and like what's lights and stuff. But it's kind of reminding me of like Impressionism in that way, because like the whole point of Impressionism was to, you know, as the name implies, get the impression of what you're looking at. So this kind of feels like it's harkening back to that, where like it's almost like he took a glance at this like really vibrant scene, this Mardi Gras in Coney Island, and he's like, I'm just gonna paint it. I'm just gonna paint it. I'm gonna put my memory to canvas. And he's not like limited by the idea of like it has to look exactly like, you know, the carousel or, you know, the lights and stuff. He's kind of going off of vibes, which I think is pretty cool. Oh, cool, cool, cool. All right. So that's Battle of Lights. This was made in 1913, 1914. Voice of the City of New York interpreted. How big is this artwork? I need to zoom in more. I need to zoom in more. Maybe this? No, it's too small. It's too small. Byproducts, plants, the virgin. Oh, this is beautiful. 1926. Flowers, Italy. There's so much like ornate detail here. I'm not gonna look at each and every one of the artworks, but like, we have a whole biography here. Let's look at Flowers, Italy, and then we'll look at the Brooklyn Bridge. I think both of these are very cool. Let's DuckDuckGo. Flowers, Italy. Joseph Stella. Images. Here we go. Oh, beautiful. Wait, no, that's Georgia O'Keeffe. Or maybe this is one of the inspirations? Oh, Georgia O'Keeffe is also part of the same movement. I was like, wait, why is it linking me to like Georgia O'Keeffe if we're looking at the work of Joseph Stella? So they're both within this movement of precisionism. You summon the cats. Can I just open this in a new tab? There we go. Oh my gosh, look at how much detail this has. So now you can kind of make out more of what's going on, as opposed to his earlier work where it felt more like impressionist and kind of like it was kind of hard to parse like what exactly was going on. Here you can actually make out that like these are flowers, right? But there's also a touch of like kind of like surrealism in it, because like, you know, like what kind of landscape is this? It almost feels like it almost feels kind of liminal. like the blue expanse in the distance, right? And this kind of looks like some kind of like architectural arch, right? But also like all these different flowers over here. Like it could look like a garden, but there's something about the blue expanse behind it that makes it feel a little liminal as well. This looks like the artist makers of those 10,000 piece puzzles use. I agree. Because it looks like it'd be fun to like put these together and be like, yeah, like I got the pieces for the white flower. Oh, but there's also a white flower here, but then there's also a white flower here, right? Yeah, this is fantastic. I love this. This was made in the 1930s. This is so cool. Let's take a look at this one. The Brooklyn Bridge, variation on an old theme. Let's look at this one. By Joseph Stella. Stella! Ooh, this one's cool too. It has a little bit of like Art Deco in it. Let me see if we can open this in a new tab. There we go. Oh, cool. Okay, so yeah, this is the Brooklyn Bridge, but it's kind of like an abstraction of it, because you can kind of tell like this is like the bridge is, okay, I don't know the parts of a bridge that well. Arash from FGO1 uses his noble phantasm. Stella! And then you beat the boss. But unfortunately, Arash is not there to see it. But yeah, I don't know the parts of a bridge that well, but like this part of the bridge, and then you got like the cables and stuff here. But then look, there's a little bit of like a section here that also shows like what the like skyline looks like at night. Cable tower bridge bit. Hope that helps. Yes, it does, Plata. Thank you. Yeah, the cable, the tower, I want to say. And then like this, like the geometric shapes over here. It feels kind of Art Deco, not completely, but it kind of has touches of it. Same, I think it's also because like Joseph Stella is also putting this like light effect here. He's using like geometric shapes. Like these are just parallelograms, but like the use of like the light blue is making it look like New York City skyline is glowing in the evening, right? So I don't know, the like it's almost like rays of light coming out, even though it's not sunlight. It's actually like kind of the light pollution of New York, which I'm not one to talk. Los Bincos also has that amount of light pollution, but it has a very kind of Art Deco quality to it. But yeah, the background though, like looking into the city itself, is kind of like abstracted. It's made into, it's kind of like broken down into just like these geometric shapes. But that it's cool because it does kind of give off this almost like mechanical, futuristic vibe, right? So very cool all around. We couldn't spend too much time on like looking at Joseph Stella's like life story and like all of these kind of like analysis of some of his different works, but just like appreciating them visually is such a treat. So yeah, that's Joseph Stella. If you guys want to find out more about him, I'll put a link to this page in the chat right now. There you go. And let's move on. Yo! A good Venn diagram of art style. Yeah, totally. Alright, so let's move on. The next bits of art that we're going to be looking at. Yo! This is Sklimbo. This is one of my favorite VTubers. He is the VTuber male. And this person, Blair VT, they drew Sklimbo in this, was it Nishiki-e style? Oh my god, it's big, dude! I didn't know that someone made Nishiki-e art of pink, of Joji. Is Joji. But this is really sick. Let's look at the original I actually don't know, like, I only know, like, you know, it's based off of this specific work, but also I just gotta do this. I just gotta. Yo! the caption, the hey. Yo! I'm glad that you guys joined me in the yo! Big guy square pant. Oh, and thank you for shouting out Blair VT, Matthew. Nice. I don't know them personally, but they did make this really cool artwork. So very nice, very nice. Let's bring back the Vaporwave. There we go. But they got all the features, right? They got all the features. They got like it, because I'm pretty sure this is like kind of kabuki style face paint, right? Or not face paint, like makeup. Do you think the guy who was recorded think he was gonna be this famous? Oh, that's such a good question, you know? I don't know why that reminds me of that one not so fun fact of like whenever you hear a laugh track in certain shows, all the people that were in that laugh track are now dead because it was like recorded in like the early 1900s. It's one of those like, that's not a fun fact, but it is kind of a fun fact. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about this other than the fact that it's cool. Like, it's sick. Like, they match the style pretty perfectly. The pose even, I do like the jazz hands, you know? Which I'm pretty sure this is like a kabuki pose, right? You know what? You can see a little bit of the hands here, and it's very clear that they did not trace, not that that was like an accusation or anything, but like if you look at the hands here, they definitely did it in a very Japanese style. Whereas here, like, this looks more like an actual hand. So this artist is pretty skilled with drawing hands. I want to say. But I don't know, I like it. I like it. I think it's cool. I do, and we're gonna touch on this too when we look at the multicultural back rooms too. But I just like the idea of artists kind of experimenting with replicating different cultural styles, right? Jazz hands from the Japanese theater, exactly. It's like the guy who got his photograph taken and stuck his tongue out. He knew it was going to be a banger 100 years later. Yeah, because I know Albert Einstein did that, but then there's also like this really cute picture of, I think it's like oh my god, what dynasty was that? It's when like a lot of Chinese immigrants were coming to the US. And there's a picture of this guy who's like just eating his noodles, but he looks so happy. And it's like, this is such a banger photo, especially considering that it was taken in like the 1900s or something. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see, photo 1900s Chinese guy eating noodles. And he's like smiling. I found it! Oh, no, I guess he's eating rice. Oh, Reddit. It's this one. Look, he's so happy. Like, I love that. He's so happy. This is circa 1900. That's crazy. Like, I want to be this cool. I want to be this cool. You know what? It's giving the same energy as like Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender when he's showing his little like airbending trick and he's just like smiling at the camera. And then like when I think there was like a scene in like Legend of Korra where someone shows a picture and it's like adult Aang doing the same thing. Bro was posed up for like 20 minutes, by the way. Yeah, considering that like at this point in time with cameras, it probably was like taking that long to make that photo. What a great picture. What a fantastic picture. But yeah, so that is the art of Blair VT. Once again, like there's not much to say other than it looks great. It looks fantastic. I don't know too much about Nishiki-e color style though, so that might be something to look into. You know what? What's wrong with just doing it right now? Nishiki-e painting? Nishiki-e. Brocade picture is a type of Japanese multicolored woodblock printing. Oh, cool. And we were just talking about printing with Patrick Caulfield. Primarily in ukiyo-e. It was invented in the 1760s and perfected and popularized by the printmaker Suzuki Harunobu, who produced many Nishiki-e prints between 1765 and his death 5 years later. Only for 5 years, oh no. But cool, very cool. Oh, so it's like a printmaking style where probably they had a stamp or like a wood block where it's like just this green part, right? And this green part here, and then maybe another one for the yellow, another one for like the orange, and then maybe a whole print where it's, or not print, but like a block where it's just like the black parts, like the outlines. I remember woodblock painting back in high school. It took me 2 weeks to carve the stamp. Yeah, that's something that like people underestimate when it comes to like printing. Or like traditional printing where you have to make each of the panels. You have to make each of the blocks for like this. So this, depending on how many colors are here. So there's green, there's like this off-white tan, there's black, orange, yellow, I think there's like brown. And I guess this like kind of grayish color. That's like 7, I want to say like 7, maybe a lot more, like 7, 8, or maybe even like 10 different wood blocks that you would have to carve to make something like this. But then once it's carved, you can just keep on making cool prints like this. I think that's the awesome part. So cool, 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 cool. All right, let's get back into it. You know what? Let's push this to a little bit later after we cover the multicultural back rooms, because I do feel like this next topic is a little bit more relevant to what we were just talking about of like replicating different art styles. We had lino printing, just carving into lino tile. Yeah, that one's fun. I'm actually not sure if I've ever done lino cut printing because I thought I was doing it when I was making these rubber stamps for myself and for others, but I realized that's like a rubber like block. I don't think it's actual lino cut. So I would like to try lino cut one of these days. Cause carving wooden, like the rubber blocks was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, so let's talk about, you know what? Let me get a sip of water first, and then we'll talk about some multicultural backrooms. Okay. Phew, I needed that. Is this score live? Like, is this happening like right now? Anyway. So yeah, like I said, recently there's been this trend because of the back rooms. I was gonna say backwoods. Because of the back rooms movie, people have been depicting the idea of the back rooms, but in different art styles. So for example, this one by Project Crater. Let me put this in the chat. We did lino first, but I did wood for an art show. Oh, that's sick. That's so cool. Let's see. Oh, Owen! Hello! I was just putting the link to this artwork in the chat. Hello! Welcome, welcome everyone. My name is Bibinka Bear. I'm your local Sun Bear art history teacher and educational streamer. And today we're doing a little bit of art appreciation. We just got done looking at some British pop artists, Patrick Caulfield. We looked at Joseph Stella, who was an Italian-American futurist. We also looked at contemporary art that is being made nowadays, that is replicating certain art styles, and that brings us to this, which, oh, I'm big. We're looking at the back rooms, but medieval. And we're going to be looking at other examples of this as well. So before I continue on, let's say hello to the people that rated in. So hello. Owen, how was Everything is a Crab? Tell me more about that game. That sounds fun. But thank you for raiding. Sparkly Race Cat raid. Hello, Kayla Gayla. Hello. Kicking up fire. Welcome, welcome to the class. Sparkly Race Cat raid. Yeah, we're looking at art. Hello, Patware, Sparkly Race Cat raid. Howdy schmowdy. I'm big. I'm embiggened. It's a really colorful, fun evolution game. Bit of a bullet heaven like Vampire Survivors and Megabong. Oh, cool. Is it top down like Vampire Survivors, or is it like first person like Megabonk? Large bear, I know. For once in my life, I'm in large. Top down. Ooh, okay. I might be interested because Megabonk was a cool concept, but it wasn't for me. I think Beans liked it, but I was like, I don't like the first person of it. But if it's top down, maybe I'll check it out. But thank you for the rate. If you have to do any post-stream care, get some rest, get some snackies, get some nappies. No worries at all. Thank you for trusting me with the mechanics. And we're just yapping about art. You start as a blob and you get a little evolutionary traits that dynamically change the look of your crab. Oh, is it like, what is it, carcinization? Where, like, evolutionarily speaking, a lot of life forms trend towards becoming crab. And do you guys know that the mammal version of that is cat? Everything becomes cat. I mean, Sparkly Race Cat Raid, right? You know, the Sparkly Race Cat. Everything will eventually become Sparkly Race Cat. Mm-hmm. You can become a bear slime. Oh, like a Babinka Isekai. Oh, cool. That kind of like itches a nice spot in my brain because one of my favorite isekais is So I'm a Spider, So What? And I found the like quote unquote like kind of evolutionary like tract of that to be super satisfying. I guess that makes sense since I like Digimon too, but but it's like it's just so satisfying to go from like for the main character of that series to go from like small spider to slightly bigger spider to poison spider. I'm not gonna spoil anything after that. There's a mechanic around carcinization where the closer you become crab, the game gets weirder buffs and more difficult. Ooh, okay. I kind of want to check this out. Oh, we do have an ad break coming up. But because we just got a raid, let me refresh and see if I can snooze that. Because it always says that I've run out of snoozes when it's like, I just started the stream. Like, I didn't snooze yet. Okay, snooze. We're going to snooze the ad for 5 minutes. We're going to yap about medieval backrooms, and then we'll go to an ad break because I want to eat some of my torta. Ain't no weighing, it's already been an hour, right? That's what I keep saying. I'm like, time be flying. But yeah, let's talk about the backrooms. So yeah, because of the like widespread success of like the Backrooms movie, as well as just like the spread of it as like a meme, as an idea, we've been seeing this trend recently on Twitter, especially of like people portraying the Backrooms in different art styles. This video, which I'm gonna link in the chat right now, showcases a whole bunch of different examples. You can't snooze until your first ad break. Oh, I see. But yeah, this short, we're not gonna look through it because like I said, I don't want to like steal anyone's content. I think you should definitely take a look at it on your own. But they showcase different artists and different art styles that are following this trend of like, oh, it's ancient Egypt, but it's also the Backrooms, you know? So the movie, it's really good, and it's also rife with memes and joke opportunities. Also, Ken Parsons is 20 years old. Yeah, I've been hearing that a lot. I feel like that's like the main thing that I've been hearing is that the director is really young, right? But cool. I think it's not in... Is it still in theaters? Because every time me and Beans try to watch a specific movie, we're always too late. It's like, it stopped showing like last week, you know? But I think this is just a really cool art trend in general because you get people that are showcasing different art styles, you know? It might be? You know, like this one is kind of like Chinese Communist propaganda style. So you can kind of see that they have like little touches that really kind of like sell the art style. Like there's a little bit of ink bleed here, right? I don't know why his age is a meme too. I don't know either. Let's see. And then like there's also like kind of older Indian style. This one is kind of like Greek style. Is there a way that I can... dang it, no, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Greek pottery. Really damn cool communist propaganda art style, goes hard. Yeah, especially with like the ones from Russia as well. Like the style of it actually does come from a specific movement. I don't know if it's Italian futurists, but there is a certain kind of like inky style to some of the propaganda that you could see in like the 50s and 60s. I forgot what it was called. I think it's constructivism. You know what? Let's look it up. I'm pretty sure constructivism is the name of the movement. Constructivism. Art. On constructivism art. Here we go. Yeah, it's this one. This is a Russian art movement around the 1910s. So we haven't gone through it yet with our decade studies, but it kind of looks like this, where it's kind of like breaking down, abstracting forms into kind of like geometric forms. So you do eventually see this kind of like turn into this very familiar like Russian propaganda style. Mafia 3 has communist propaganda posters you can collect. Of course, the protagonist hates them because he's a Vietnam vet, but they look super cool. Yeah, Soviet style with the bright red and yellow. Exactly. But yeah, this is just a really cool trend that I'm digging because, like, you can really see people just kind of experiment with the different styles and different ways of portraying this idea of the backrooms, this idea of like a liminal space, but it kind of comes out of nowhere. And like part of the terror, part of the like ambiguity of it is like, where did these rooms come from? This one's so cool. This is Mesoamerican. I want to say Aztec style, or no, I think it's supposed to be Maya because it looks like it's trying to imitate Maya glyphs over here. You know what? It is Maya because this style of tree, there is a vessel. It's a codex vessel that shows like a cacao tree, and it's kind of in this style. I'm just not sure if the outfit, it feels more Aztec than Maya, but this might just be kind of like general Mesoamerican style. But this, it looks like it's meant to kind of like copy Maya glyphs, and this is kind of like a Maya cacao tree. But there's some cool like motifs here. But yeah, I think that's another thing is that all of these artists are also showcasing kind of like what makes this style this style. Like this is really cool. This is like Byzantine iconography. Right? And there's this like heavy use of like the gold, right? The different ways that this is like translated. And this is not meant to be like a parody of the, what do you mean it's already been 5 minutes, the ad break is coming soon? No. But this is an actual artwork. This is by was this Edward Berenice? I can't read it behind this over here. But this is like Theseus and the Minotaur, and someone made kind of their own version of that. Theseus and the Minotaur, but instead of a labyrinth, they're in the back rooms, and I just think that's neat. So, I think during the ad break, because we do have an ad break coming in a couple of seconds, go ahead and watch that video. I'm gonna pin it even. Watch that video, and you can kind of see some more examples, as well as this person's, what's her name? Ani Kong's like commentary. It's really good. I like it. I love it. So yeah, I'll see you guys after the ad break. Recess. We're back. We're back, and I mentioned once that I was eating a torta. It's from our favorite vegan Mexican spot, and it's really good, but I also keep forgetting that there's jalapenos in it. So my mouth is on fire, but it's good. It's a good torta. It's a vegan chicken torta. And it's bomb. But alright, let's get back to class. Time is flying. It does feel like time is flying. Like, I feel like I'll only talk about a few things and it's like, oh, ad break is here. But alright, I don't know, folks. Vegan chicken, yeah. There's different ways to make like vegan proteins. Because basically it's like, for example, have you guys heard of seitan? Not Satan, but seitan. It's like wheat protein. I think it's made out of wheat, and like basically you can shape it into different shapes. So you can shape it into like a vaguely chicken-esque shape. I don't think I have. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let me see if I can. Yeah, hail Satan. Seitan. Oh, it's made from gluten. Oh, it's Japanese. Okay, give me un segundo. Or I guess it's like East Asian. Here, seitan. It's food made from gluten, main protein of wheat. Also known as myeonjin, fu milgogi mikan, or tsan. Wheat meat? I've never heard it. I've never heard it referred to as wheat meat. There's something about that sounds kind of weird. Gluten meat or simply gluten. So it's based off like soybean-based foods. It could look like this, but you can also shape it in different ways. But basically it starts off as, I think, like a powder. But you can shape it in different ways. But it looks like it originates from like East Asia, but you can they made speldamin. Speldamin. It seems like it's older though. Like I feel like when people think of vegan protein alternatives, they think it's like newfangled and like made within like the last like 10 years, but this seems like it's pretty old. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, like the West found out about it just recently. You know, it's like when people are like, have you heard of this new superfood, quinoa? And people in like, I think it's from like South America, right? And people in South America are like, yeah, we've been eating that. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So yeah, I think it's become popularized nowadays because it's a good vegan alternative. But it's really good. I definitely recommend it. So using that, you can make like basically vegan chicken. Like it has the same texture. You can flavor it in a way that it has like the same flavor as chicken. Or basically just use the same spices that you would use when making chicken, you know? But I love it. Have you heard of this new superfood called congee? Oh my god, I would... Can you imagine? Can you imagine if like... I was gonna say if Filipino food got that treatment, but that's kind of happening with ube. Like low-key, high-key, that's happening with ube. Where people are like, oh my gosh, have you guys heard of this like... this cool new thing? It's called a ube... It's an ube frap. You guys like this frap? It's made out of ube. I love ube. The broth here, I love congee. But can you imagine if people started like calling it like a superfood? Can you imagine they bring back the O word? They're like, oh my gosh, it's from the Orient, you guys. I've seen things you wouldn't believe. Yeah. Mold it up into a ball, season it with 11 herbs and spices and deep fry. Maximum profit, exactly. Low-key, that's how like I've been to a few like vegan festivals. Low-key, like there's a lot of black owned vegan like fried, like basically it's like vegan fried chicken, but instead of chicken they're using mushroom. And those are bomb, y'all. Like those are so bomb because they're basically frying it with the same exact spices that you would use in fried chicken. And it is so good. Like, it is so good. Ube, ain't those the aliens from Doctor Who? From the Doctor Who? Oriental. I feel like we're you know, we're circling back to people just using that term. But anyway, let's get back to talking about the arts. So yeah, I was eating my vegan chicken torta. But yeah, so yeah, we're just exploring different examples of like the back rooms, the quote-unquote back rooms, but in different art styles. And this person also brings up, can I put up the cap? Oh, the captions are already over here. This one. The Flammarion engravings. Let's look this up. The Flammarion engravings. Because I think this is an actual like piece of like medieval artwork, I want to say. Oh, no, not necessarily medieval. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. The Flammarion engraving. Come with me as I go to this hole-in-the-wall authentic Asian cafe to try their new blend, new ube matcha latte. Yup, exactly. Except would they call it ube or oob, you know? So yeah, this is interesting. This is an actual engraving from 1888. So this is the late 1800s. Flammarion engraving, wood engraving by an unknown artist. Its first documented appearance is in the book L'Atmosphere. I can't pronounce French, so I'm just gonna put the English version. The Atmosphere, Popular Meteorology, by the French astronomer and writer Camille Flammarion. Considered either medieval or Renaissance, but it is now seen as a 19th century illustration of unknown authorship that imitates older artistic styles. But what's interesting is, look, this person is putting his head through this like barrier, as I think Anik called it, and they're looking into kind of like the heavens. Now, what this is it's not any kind of like spooky reference to the backrooms before the backrooms were even like a concept. For a lot of like medieval belief, there was like not even medieval, but you see this in a lot of like ancient cultures as well. But there's this idea of a firmament, which is basically that the sky, if you are unable to have like a telescope and know that the sky just extends into space, a lot of ancient cultures just kind of assume that like it's within either this orb, as you can see here, or it's kind of like being held up, kind of like in ancient Greek mythology. There's this belief that the god Atlas, or the Titan Atlas, was holding up the sky. It's almost like the sky is like a curtain, let's say, and like the Titan is kind of like holding it up. I realize I'm like miming this act of holding it up, but I don't have any tracking for it. so like you just see me as a bear just like, you know, wiggling around. But do believe me when I'm saying that my arms are up. Wait, hold on. There we go. No, here. So I want you to imagine I'm holding up the sky. I'm holding up the sky. There we go, what Matthew's doing. The Titan Atlas is holding up the sky like so. So there was this belief in both like ancient cultures and also like medieval times that like the sky basically existed as like a curtain or being held up on this like firmament. Oi, hold up! Exactly. So that's kind of what this is depicting of, like, not necessarily that you're like glitching into the back rooms, but like this person is seeing through the firmament into like the actual heavens, where maybe that's where like God exists, or like the Christian God, or whatever it is that you believed in. Because there's also a wheel, which is kind of like one of the ways that people sometimes depict the angels, right? Like the cherubim, the seraphim. So that might be what this is about, but I don't know. I'm just kind of like making conjecture here. Because it seems like this engraving is also pretty mysterious in and of itself. But it's just interesting because it does kind of touch on this idea of like the back rooms, of like glitching into a different space altogether. So yeah, that's a cool video by this person, Ani Kang, or Kang. I'm gonna subscribe. I think they're pretty cool. I like their analysis of this. So yeah, that's all I have to say about... Oh no, that isn't all I have to say about that, because there's one more piece of artwork that kind of goes in with this theme. So we looked at the medieval version by Project Creator. We looked at this video, but look, there's this version by Mako Asado. I'll put it in the chat as well. And this is a cool one because, you know, Philippines mentioned. Uy, Philippines, you know? So I'll read what this says because this artist is actually making reference to a well-known Filipino artist. The strangest lost painting by Fernando Amorsolo ever recovered is still a life scenery of a woman staring into a bahay kubo. The interior of the kubo depicts a room that shouldn't exist until the 90s. Nobody knew about its existence until its discovery. Uy, Philippines. So the thing is, Fernando Amorsolo is an actual artist. And yeah, this artist on Twitter did a good job of kind of like replicating their style because they're well known because they did a lot of like kind of like nationalistic artwork of just showing like what the this is not a great quality photo. Here we go. I love his brush strokes. I love this guy's like brush strokes basically. But it's a lot of these kind of like pastoral scenes of like life in the Philippines. And some dramatic scenes as well. A detail from Fernando Amorsolo's defense of a Filipino woman's honor. World War II era painting. A Filipino man defends a woman who is either his wife or daughter from being R-word by an unseen Japanese soldier. Note the Japanese military cap at the man's foot. Ah, that's what this is all about. So yeah, they did a lot of these kinds of like artworks that is kind of showing like the daily life of like Filipinos. Let's see if we can find more images. Yeah, like these really, this is kind of one of my favorite paintings just because of like the colors, like these sunset colors, the deep blues, the pinks, the yellow of like the grains of rice over here, and the carabao. How, the carabao. And yeah, it's just kind of like, I keep saying pastoral, but it's just kind of like rural. You know what? I think this might be what this art is based off. Like, look at this. So obviously this was made more so with like digital art, but it kind of copies a lot of like the brush strokes that you would see. And then look at the Filipina figure over here. She's wearing this like skirt with the stripes, but then also one of the sleeves is kind of like over the shoulder. So if we go back to Fernando Amorsolo's actual work, take a look. Very similar. We can even zoom in on this. I think another thing with Fernando Amorsolo's work is just the light. Like, look at the way that the light plays on the fabrics, especially considering that like some of these fabrics would have been see-through or translucent. So yeah, you can very clearly see kind of like the influence from like the actual artist versus like this artist over here, which is really cool. Like this bang of job over here with Mako Asado. But yeah, they're looking into a bahay kubo, and this is kind of their idea of showing the back rooms. But yeah. Very cool overall. So yeah, just another example of like, I don't know, it's just cool to see people kind of like imitating these different styles. So first of all, I want to take out some of these tabs that I have open, because there's too many of them. I don't like it when there's too many tabs open. Close that. Let me close some of the tabs here. Okay, we're actually close to the end of the queue. We just have a couple things to look at. Let's see, which one should we do first? Let's do this one first, because we did skip over it originally, but this was recommended by Mega Bronson. A couple of sessions earlier, a couple of these like art appreciation sessions earlier, we did look at a lot of like urban street art. And this is a cool one. So I'm not going to look at, once again, I'm not going to look at the whole video because I think that you guys should definitely take a look at it yourself. I'm going to put the link up here in the chat. But this is an interesting one because first it kind of shows this like this tunnel area with this big kind of like expansive green. And then you see this guy running up here with the high visibility vest. And it's like, oh, maybe this is a worker that is working to kind of cover this up, right? And he even has like this green paint and like this big old like, what's it called? Like, not mop. It's like a reacher. It's like a long paintbrush, basically. I'll play a little bit because it's like this next part that I think is pretty interesting. there's a cop. There's a cop that is kind of like speeding by. And of course they have their sirens and their lights on. So it seems like they are probably not going to be all too concerned about like anyone doing a graffiti or making graffiti on the tunnel because they're like too busy chasing after whatever they're chasing after, right? Hip hop jump scare, right? Yeah, let me turn off the Spotify music. I know if it's a little loud, apologies. Yeah, there is some hip hop music here. So they're using this like huge roller paint roller? Whoop whoop, the sound of the beast. So yeah, at first I was like, oh, is he covering up the graffiti? Is he like one of those like city workers that's covering it up? But then you realize that like, oh no, he wouldn't be using this like vibrant green, right? But it kind of goes into, I remember when like me and Mega Bronson had our collab and he was talking about street art of like, how do people get away with making like kind of like large scale graffiti works? And especially in places where it's not, you know, like always welcome. Because there are certain parts where like that kind of art is completely welcome on certain like walls in certain places, but on a place like this, like maybe not so much because it's like public property, or maybe it's owned by like a certain like maybe by the government, by the city, etc., etc. So how do people get away with it? And I remember he told me that sometimes you see people that are just they're doing the opposite. They're not trying to do it in secret, like in the dark of night or anything like that. They put on a high visibility vest, and they do it in the middle of the daylight because oftentimes because of the bystander effect, not everyone like for one, people are gonna assume like, oh, they have a high visibility like vest on. Maybe they're a city worker and they're kind of making the same assumption that I made, right? Exactly what Owen said in the chat. You can get away with so much with a high vis vest. Exactly. Because he's wearing it, he's out in the open, people are kind of like, oh, this guy's not a tagger, this guy's not like, you know, he's not putting up illegal art. He's meant to do that. He's like trying to spruce up the tunnel. Maybe someone commissioned him to do so, right? Sometimes it's stealthy to be obvious. Exactly. And traffic cones, exactly. So people can do this in broad daylight, and no one will, you know, bat an eye at it of like, oh, he's meant to be there. Yeah. And a clipboard, exactly. Another tip that I heard is if you're carrying a chair. If you're just carrying a chair somewhere, like no one's gonna stop you. Like people might even open the door for you where it's like, oh, you need to get in here? Yeah, you're carrying a chair. I'm assuming you're like moving furniture, you know? Yeah, exactly, Plata 64. Probably some city art project or whatever. Exactly. And what's funny is, like I said, me and Beans have been watching a lot of Better Call Saul, and I feel like they do this a lot where they different characters will do this thing where it's like, oh, they're trying to track down a person or they're trying to like find out some private information. So they'll just call up like say a hotel and be like, yeah, you know, like I'm just trying to find out if my cousin is there. Can you tell me if like Chuck McGillis is over there? Yeah, it's Charles. He's not. All right, cool. And they just do this thing where it's like because of either bystander effect or because of like people just kind of assuming like either like assuming the best in people or just being unassuming, like you get free information from that. I don't know. Yeah, social engineering. Exactly. So yeah, and it's funny because I not fell victim, but I had the same assumption of like, oh, he has a high visibility jacket. Yeah, he's probably meant to be there. And what's funny is he really might be, but what might be more likely is like this guy didn't get any kind of clearance from the government or from the city. He just be doing it, which is cool because look at this large scale artwork that he's making, right? Let me turn the music down a little bit. But look at that, isn't that cool? I like the way they're playing around with like things like the drip. Like literally there's like paint dripping. They're playing around with like with the spray cans. If you hold it at different like directions or at different angles, it does a little bit more of a like softer effect. And it's kind of gritty. I like it. It's kind of like gritty intentionally messy, you know? The story of a guy hired by a company to test security. He ended up stealing a server tower. Yup. Security and employees when a person in a high vis and a ladder walks into a private property. Exactly. Like, if you watch Better Call Saul, if you learn from that, it's like, oh, you could just You could just scam your way into anything. People held doors and elevators for him. Yeah, exactly. Because people aren't gonna question it, you know? And that is something that, like, even though we're kind of talking about it, like, kind of lightheartedly, that is something that, like, for example, like, for my line of work, I visit different schools to provide workshops, like art workshops and stuff like, and like art observation workshops. And like on one hand, like yeah, like we've kind of seen, me and my team has seen firsthand, like how much security varies at different schools. And for better or for worse, security actually has been really good at a lot of the schools we've been to. Like you can't just walk into a school anymore, which I think personally, with like how things are nowadays, is for the best. But for visitors like us, it can be kind of difficult, but it's kind of better that way. Because for any school that we have to enter, there's usually a doorbell system. The one oh, you know what? I'm not gonna tell you what the one exception is. Like, I'm not gonna tell you what the one exception is, but like, in many cases, there is a doorbell system where like there's like every single entrance to a school is gated, and locked, especially during school hours. And then there's like a doorbell system where like, it's kind of like Ring, where like there's also a camera, so whoever is activating the door can also see like who is ringing the doorbell. Handsful can't grab lanyard type strategy to get into a secure area. Exactly. But yeah, at a lot of these schools, you usually have to state your business while you're there. Usually I'm not let in unless I have my badge, or unless someone can vouch for me. And yeah, active shooter drills are definitely still a thing, unfortunately. But luckily, like I said, for a lot of the schools that I've been to, the security is very good. The only thing that we have to watch out for is that sometimes, like, when we're coming in, there's, like, a parent or someone that is also coming in at the same time. And usually we kind of just hold the door open for them because it's like, you don't want to have them, like, activate the doorbell. But we've been advised to not do that. Like, if you go in, it's just you that goes in. Like, you can't be holding the door open for someone who, like, didn't state their business, because what if that's someone with nefarious intent? What if that's someone, you know, like, you know, knock on wood, God forbid, like someone with a weapon, you know? So, like, as much as we want to be polite and just, like, hold open the door for someone who we assume is a parent, you know? We assume that they're, like, someone that's meant to be there. Like, our bosses have been like, don't do that. Like, if you get let into the school, only you go into the school. Don't hold open the door for no one else, you know? So, for better or for worse, you know? But yeah, all that to say, very cool artwork. And it is very interesting to see, like, how you can get away with something like making this large scale street art in daylight. Pretty cool stuff, pretty interesting stuff, right? So with that, let's go ahead and go to the next work. Yeah, so our last two works of the day are videos. Once again, not gonna play them. I've snuck into like 3 anime conventions because I walk with conviction, feeling like I'm part of the staff. That's also a strat. Is just like how confidently you walk. Like, if you look lost, people will know you're lost. But if you just walk into a place, they will not question it. However, especially because next weekend is July 4th, 4th of July, Independence Day. Woo woo woo! Because of that, Anime Expo is usually during that weekend. And I think this is actually the first year that me and Beans are not going to Anime Expo since I've been going since 2010. I forget when Beans started going. I want to say like 2015, 2016, but I've been going every year since 2010. So I've been going, this would have been my 15th year, but like each year, especially since the pandemic, has just been kind of like not worth it because of the crowds. But the people that are in charge of like Anime Expo, like they have been pretty good. Getting your badge is now like a lot easier. Getting into the venue is a lot easier. It's just like how crowded it is. It's just been so crowded, and like it feels like the energy is being sucked out of you. So we're not going anymore this year. I think my siblings might be, but I don't know. But the reason why I mentioned that is because it was a lot easier to sneak into Anime Expo during the 2010s. Not that I have any experience, but because I always bought my badge fair and square. I always paid for it. But I might have had some buddies that did not, you know, and I just wanted to help them out. So it was pretty easy. Like, all you had to do was like get in with your badge, and then like if you had a, oh, you know what, I think you needed two people with badges, and then like both of you would go in, and then what was it? Oh, you would, like, let's say that it's like me and Beans and we're trying to sneak in like Mega Bronson. Like, me and Beans would enter with our badges, and then Beans would take my badge, go outside, and then give my badge to Mega Bronson. Yeah, the handoff, exactly. Exactly. So you could do that back in the day. You can't do that anymore. Because now they have a system where your badge is tied to you, and you also have to tap your badge when you exit as well. So if you try to do the handoff, then like when you try to exit out again, they'll be like, "Hey, what is this?" Like, and they will grill you for it. Me and Beans did see someone get grilled for that. So yeah. I've approached security asking them if they're feeling alright and just lifting the yellow tape above my head. Ah, there you go. Just give them the old like, how you do? How you doing? But yeah, less about sneaking into places where we shouldn't be. And we have two more things to look at. And I think we'll call it from there. But time does fly. I can't believe it's already been 30 minutes since the last ad break. What the heck? Let me get some water. Let me have a sippy of water, and then we'll continue on. Okay, so this next artwork is a pretty cool one. It's a snuff box. It's a German snuff box, but we're not going to talk about the snuff. We are going to talk about the box and the artistry of it, because I'm not going to play the video, but I will link it in the chat if you want to check it out for yourself. This is by Sotheby's. And it's basically a German, like, tiny little German box that you would use to keep your drugs. But what is really cool about this is kind of the artistry of it. So I kind of chose to start on this this part of the video, because as you can see, there's a bunch of different stones. This is the top of the box. There's a bunch of different stones, and they're numbered. So for example, you could see, like, I think this is 3, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., 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 until you go in here. And they're all kind of like fitted inside of this little golden trimming here. So first of all, that takes a lot of artistry and skill from the goldsmith to like make this very ornate frame for each of these stones. With numbers and a little bit of decoration between all of them. And it's also in this like twisting pattern. And also they had to perfectly fit the stones, and the stones also had to be cut in a way that made it perfectly fit in the frame. I think it was recently the British Parliament that had a box of it for politicians because tradition. Tradition, yeah, they're totally not putting anything inside of it or nothing, right? But yeah, so that in and of itself like already speaks volumes on like the skill of these kinds of boxes, especially for something so small. Like, look at the amount of detail here on something so small, like if you compare it to her hands over here. But there's also a secret. There's also a secret within this thing. I think I'll let it play from here, and I'll put the captions. Let me turn off the music. A secret compartment. Isn't that cool? And it's pretty cool because that's kind of the reason why there's these numbers on like look at how fine that gold frame has to be, because it also all has numbers on the inside of it. So very detailed. And then when you open up the book, it shows like what each stone is. So if you go to 67, then you go like back, I think here, then you find like which stone is 67, and you look into the booklet. So it seems it's still around, but no one partakes that we know of. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine though? Can you imagine like, all right, it's time to start this parliamentary meeting. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. But I'm just kidding. I'm just having a little hee hee ha ha, a little poke of fun, especially because it's World Cup season. But yeah, I don't know. That's just such a cool little detail. She also said that like, of this artist, I think his name is like Steel. They're reported to only have made 10 of these boxes. Only 10, like in the entire world. It's possible that they made more, but there's just no record of it. But there's only 10, and I think she said something like 4 of them are in museum like spaces. The other 6 are in private hands, or it might be the other way around. It might be 6 of them are at museums and 4 of them are in private collections. So I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, this one was hidden away for a long time. I think it was in private ownership until I don't know what date that they said, but they also noted that like this flower over here is forget-me-nots. It's a symbol of loyalty, meaning that like this might have been a gift from like departing lovers, or here, parting lovers, but it could also be for like ambassadors. Oh no, it froze. No, my screen. Stop. Okay, cool. Yeah, places where loyalty mattered. There you go. So let's see. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is just really cool for its ornateness. And look at this. This is kind of like, you can see the underside of the stones as well. Very ornate. So big shout out to Dove Beetle for recommending this video. Like I said, I don't look too much into like European art, other than like Northern Renaissance stuff and kind of Mediterranean ancient art. But stuff like this is pretty cool. It's pretty neat. Oh, I think these are some of the boxes that this artist made. 10 of them. Only 10 in the world. And some of them are in private collections. How bare they? That's all I ask. How bare they? But alright, so that is the snuff box. And this is actually our last thing that we're going to be looking at for today. So I'm going to yap about it a little bit. We might watch a couple of parts here and there. However, I'm going to link this in the chat. But I'm going to give you guys the same warning that beeplebees had given me. She had said that at near the end, there are flashing lights and disturbing imagery and violence. So just keep that in mind if you're going to watch this. Warning for flashing lights and violence. Violent scenes near the end. So there you go. So yeah, I'm not going to play the whole thing because I do think that you should definitely check this one out for yourselves. But this is a short film from Cal Arts called Cocoon. And each and every frame is just incredibly ornate. Like the composition is just like really cool in every single one of them. There's a lot of texture that this artist uses. The characters themselves all have these like really cool geometric shapes to them. And the story itself is very interesting. I'm not going to spoil too much about it, but it is about a couple who, you know, this is the couple. Even their design is kind of like 1920s Art Deco, a little bit of Art Nouveau as well, which I think is really cool. But there's also, throughout the film, a lot of references to other older artworks. I think the one that I really like was the Gustav Klimt. This one. This one is super cool. This single frame is super cool because of all of the references to like Botticelli's Birth of Venus, which we can Google that. Birth of Venus. This one, like, a lot of people have seen before. But just as a refresher. I guess you can't get like just like the image by itself unless it's like framed. But yeah, it's this one. This is Botticelli's Birth of Venus. Is it because is the artist not Botticelli? No, it is. It is. it is. Oh, here we go. So there's this one. You have like the winds over here. and instead it's these, like, I guess priests or clergy. But you also have Gustav Klimt's The Kiss. Gustav Klimt Kiss. This is another really well-known one. So you might have seen this one, but in some ways the video does kind of make reference to these textures that you see, these like geometric textures. There's a lot of like these squares, but also these like spirals and these circles. But also it's mostly the pose. When a lot of other artists have kind of made reference to this artwork, and it's usually this pose because it's kind of like the forms are twisted in kind of like an interesting way. Like the neck is kind of like twisted here, but it's kind of like showing this kind of closeness between the couple. And you see very similar pose here. So it's a combination of these two very like famous paintings of like Botticelli's Birth of Venus as well as The Kiss. The Italian Board of Tourism made a campaign with it, but it's AI Venus touring Italy. Unfortunately, a good chunk of the Italian ad campaign for Italy uses AI videos of Croatia? Huh? Dang, like that that whole sentence got worse and worse with each word. Thank you for letting me know, but like, what the heck? Hate that. But yeah, with that said, like oh, you know what? I just realized, I think this is like the parent of like the groom, and it kind of looks like Salvador Dali, which that's another thing. There's a lot of references to Dali's work as well. For those who don't know, he was a surrealist artist. And one of his more famous works was the melting clocks, basically, the persistence of memory. So you see that kind of here. You see it here as well. And then there's a later part that I don't want to spoil, but it actually makes a reference to one of Salvador Dali's films. So it's a very interesting one. But just the art in general is just very appealing. Like there's so much like play with texture. There's a lot of play with texture, but never at the cost of readability and clarity. And what I mean by that is like, if you look at this frame right here, and sorry if you hear the squeak of my chair. I'm just adjusting. If you look at this frame over here, you can see like the background has this kind of like marble texture to it. And then there's kind of this like stone texture underneath, but you can still make out the character. Like the character, her skin is this kind of like solid color with a little bit of texturing on it. Her dress is still pretty readable. So like she doesn't get lost in the details. Unlike when we were looking at, who was it again? Joseph Stella, where some of his earlier work had like, it was kind of like chaotic with all the colors and all the shapes that you were kind of losing what it was that we're supposed to be looking at, and probably like intentionally in the case of Joseph Stella. But here, nothing gets lost in the details. Like some things are kind of surreal, right? But like you can still make out like this character and her dress. Ooh, this is another one that is kind of feels like it's making reference to Gustav Klimt's, like his gold, like the Kiss artwork. And like, I'm not doing justice to like the motion either. Like you should definitely check out this short film and just see like the motion of everything. So yeah, overall, like amazing artworks, amazing film. This is definitely a reference to Klimt. Like look at all the use of squares and like kind of the loop-de-loops here. Except instead of using gold, it's more so this blue. But yeah, all around like a really cool amalgamation of just different famous artists. So like Klimt, Botticelli, Salvador Dali, with a little bit of Art Deco and Art Nouveau mixed in there as well. It all comes together, but not in a way that's chaotic. It's a way that kind of like everything is readable, everything makes sense. Everything's kind of cool. So yeah, 100% recommend. Do check it out. Do check it out. It's linked over there in the chat. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for today's art appreciation. We got through a lot. We did our dailies, but we also looked through just so many different artworks, artists. All of it tickles me in a very fun way. So if there's any artwork that you guys want me to... That was a lot of art. Yeah, 100%. We looked at a lot today. So my voice is starting to go, so I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I'm gonna stop raids. Big fan of art. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and that's the link to the Discord. If you guys want me to review any artwork, either by a contemporary artist, a historical artist, or even your own artwork, or even a piece of fan art that you saw on social media and just want to show off, feel free to drop it in the art appreciation channel on my Discord, and we'll look at it next art appreciation, which is probably going to be at the end of next month. So, like July 20-ish, 24, 25, 26, whatever, wherever it falls on. No, actually, I lied. I'm a liar. Next month I'm gonna be at Offkai, like around that time. So art appreciation is probably gonna be either the week before or the week after. So it might be beginning of August, but I will get to it. And if we don't get any submissions, my strat is gonna be we're gonna play Anthropium and do a deep dive on whatever we miss. so we're always gonna have a healthy amount of things to look at for art appreciation. But you know what? I'm also gonna try that out next Monday. With that said, tune in tomorrow because we're going to also be doing an educational stream. So as a reward for people that donated 10 or more subs, people were able to suggest a idea for an educational stream. And tomorrow is a topic that was recommended by Matthew. Yippee! And it's going to be the artistry of tabletop wargaming. In fact, I think I can give you guys a preview of what that looks like. Hold on. Wargaming, here we go. Just a preview, just like a smidge. There we go. So yeah, that's what the first slide looks like. I still have to add some decorations. I have to add some decorations to each of the slides and stuff, but as you can see on the left side over there, we got a hefty amount of information to go over. So I'm excited. This was very fun to research. And we're gonna be appreciating even more art tomorrow. So if you like today, you're gonna like tomorrow as well. But with that, let's go ahead and mosh. Let's freaking mosh, you guys. What do we have here on the YouTubes? Let's see, what do we have? The Ninth Digidestined. Ooh, I listened to this one earlier. That one's fun. Glad it was neat to research. Yeah, all of these topics were like really fun to research. There's just so much. Oh my god, official trailer for the Walpurgisnacht Rising movie. Oh my god. Well, you know what we should do? I'm sure there's a metal cover of Magia. Madoka Metal. Let's do that. Alright, for any new students in the class today, this is our end of stream tradition. This is our mosh pit. All you gotta do is I'm gonna play some music on the screen over here, and once you hear the music, go ahead and start spamming your favorite emotes in the chat, and I'm gonna make your little stream avatars fight each other. There's no correlation between how many emotes you spam and who wins the mosh pit. It's RNG, and it's not rigged. Don't believe the lies. But once you hear the music, get to moshing. Yeah. Hey, it's not rigged. It's not. Hey. And then also see who we can raid into. Right there. Dang, quite a few people are streaming right now. I'm thinking, does anyone know if Mega Bronson is going for longer? Dang, he's been going for 7 hours? I want to raid into Mega Bronson, but I'm hoping he's gonna keep on going. Everyone's streaming when the East Coast is sleeping. It's not rigged, no! I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. A mod 1. Well, there's round 2. There's round 2. Oh, who's getting that med pack? It's Owolando! Nice. It's me versus Owolando. Who's gonna get it? Oh, who got the med pack? I didn't see it. Was it me? No! It might be rigged. It might be rigged! No! Do we have enough time for another round? I think. Oh, we don't because it goes into the credits after this. I was like, oh, we're only halfway through, but nah. Nah. No, it's not rigged. It was just RNG. It's just RNG, I swear. Oh wait, no, it does go on for longer. Just kidding. Just kidding. No. We have another round. We have another round. Because I saw credits and I was like, ah, it's short, but it's not. There's more. But wait, there's more. Because this is just their solo, which is a sick solo. Wee, 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 wee. It's me versus Owolando again, and I just got a med pack. Oh no. Oh, who's gonna get the med pack? No! Owolando turned around before he could get the med pack! No! He was so close. What? No! Oh no! I was so close too, but those med packs. I'm telling you it's the med packs. You believe me, right? Do we have enough time for another round? Nah, I think this is it. This is it. That was it. Punished for dash dancing. She takes the med pack and rigs it too. No, I swear. You gotta believe me. I'm just a humble art history teacher. Why would I rig it? Congrats to Babika for paying my wages. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I can't wait for the next Madoka film. Are you guys ready to embrace the darkness? I know I am. Nice! Good job. Alright guys, we're gonna go ahead and raid out into Mega Bronson. For those that don't already know him, he's a fellow bear. And he's fantastic. He's playing the Entropy Center. I'm not sure what the game is, but it looks really cool. Do tune in tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the artistry of tabletop wargaming. And thank you for tuning in today. It's always fun to yap about art history with you guys and art. More Curse Yuri, Despair. Otsubinka, thanks for the stream. Thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and start that raid. I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, and evening. And as always, I'll see you guys when I see you guys. The raid message works. Let's freaking go. Thanks for the stream. Thank you guys. Thank you. We raid.